Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to MCubed Sidetrack. Somewhere down here. Sidetrack. There we go. And Matt the Dean. We've got a trifecta going today, which is pretty damn cool, I'd say.
3 channels for the price of actually for 3.
Yeah.
For the price of 3.
Price of 1, right? Well, we've got a few things lined up for today. The Creator versus Rebel Moon. What will be the most epic sci-fi of 2023 now that Dune Part 2 is no longer part of our upcoming months. Before we do anything else.
Thank you, my Quest.
Happy birthday to you.
Matthew. Shut up, Matt. Happy. Oh, just.
Was that awkward and bad enough for a happy birthday song real quick?
I mean, it seemed more awkward for you too.
Maybe.
In my brain, I'm going, oh shit, are we doing this?
I don't know. I was hoping you were tagging on and we were just like, well. But happy birthday, brother. You're 18 now? 19? What was it?
Yeah. Something
50,
like that.
60, 50.
Oh, yeah. Is it
old,
Benjamin
old.
No, I'm 31.
The right age.
31.
I'll reverse it. I'm 13.
Uh-oh. We got to get off this thing quick then. The stream canceled.
When I was 31, you were 17.
Do the stream like this.
Yeah. You were 17. You weren't even legally allowed to drink when I was 31.
No.
I mean, I probably was though.
Oh, no, you were drinking, not legally. That's why I added the legally. Before you do anything else, look, I spent 30 seconds doing an intro earlier. Damn it.
I was just trying to set it up. I didn't set it up right.
I want to see how good this intro is.
It's not. But I'm going to play anyway because I did it. So. I didn't know you were joining as well at that point. I can edit.
Sweet, simple. Mwah.
I do simple good. In and out, baby.
I do like the Western stuff Matt's done recently. We've added a little Western cue onto MCubed, and it's been cool.
I don't have an intro for my own channel, actually.
The what?
I need to make myself an intro. I don't have an intro.
No, I don't know why I do it. I actually get moaned at sometimes. Go, stop doing the bloody intro. But I do it because I feel like it's a TV show. So I do it like a TV show, but I don't actually know why I do it.
Some people don't like it, but I think it's a good way of just helping people immediately wrap their head around what they're watching. You know, it's like, oh, we're back into sidetrack.
There is an argument that intros do nothing for a video's retention, and in fact will actually hurt it. But it's branding, so if they're used to it,
possibly
keep doing it.
But I think just do one that's like 2 or 3. You know, mine's like 7 seconds long. If you can't retain your attention for 7 seconds, I don't want you as a subscriber. So we're good.
Yeah, we're living in the TikTok generation now. Though you have to literally hook someone's attention within, I think it's like 2 seconds. I think the statistic is.
Isn't it like even like less than that because it's like a thumbnail now, right? Or even it's like that you're supposed to be able to hook them from like that immediate like change from like the thumbnail hovering into like the actual video.
Yeah, because it does a little preview on the homepage now.
Mm-hmm.
It does it on mobile as well, which is a bit annoying.
Kind of cool, kind of annoying, a little bit of both.
The attention span of kids today is literally like, I mean, goldfish are there going, I've got a better memory than this kid. It's ridiculous. But anyway. Let's not get into that. We're here to talk about movies. And, we're here to talk about some song that apparently you want us to react to.
We do have a little song. We don't have a little song. Oliver Anthony has a little song.
We have a little song all together now.
It's like this. Happy birthday to you,
Matthew. But yeah, the most popular song in the world at the moment. Jamie has yet to hear, so we might as well let him just join in with the rest of us, right? This song, I guess it is a little political, but we don't have to jump into that aspect of it. We'll look more for Jamie's reaction to this. We'll see if we can get him crying.
If you've ever played Red Dead Redemption and you wanted to be a cowboy, this song is going to be your anthem.
Yes. So
It really is.
Oliver Anthony's, Richmond, north of Richmond. When y'all are ready, let me know.
Yeah. You got one muted though.
You ready?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, it is on mute. Good point.
All
right. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Go.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. Cause the rich men, know the rich men. I wish politicians look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Cashy, what you think?
I think Stephanie's right. We're going to get a copyright strike, but
Actually, I think
helpful.
I don't think they've been calling copyright strikes on those because only if someone watching it reports it, which there have been like literal dozens upon dozens upon dozens of reactions. So
Well,
if it happens, it happens.
If what David said, I think, was it David?
Yeah, this is true.
If that is true, in a year he'll make 106 million. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10.6 million, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insane.
That is insane. That was painful. What do you mean that was painful?
Well, I think he means it was that was painful and like you could feel the dude's pain while he's singing kind of deal.
Oh, because it was raw.
Yeah.
It was.
Dave might not have liked it. But at one point, did he say that if you're 5'3", and I'm not far off, and 300 pounds, then tax dollars shouldn't pay for your
bags of fudge rounds?
Yeah.
But then didn't he then talk about God like 3 seconds after that?
No, he just says, "Oh Lord," I think.
Yeah, but I mean that's okay. So I'm going Christian-y, but it's just not very Christian. Just all I was going to say. But I'm British, so we think that tax dollars we should help each other. So
yeah, I think it's a song. It's a song about the welfare state. That's
we like the welfare.
Yeah, in the working class.
Yeah, but the people that take the piss.
Mm.
The people that are 5'3" and weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah, the line before that, there's people on the street, and then you got your 5'3" people bagging fudge rounds with their welfare money instead of.
We are getting critical, and we're going to get somebody in the comments say, "I'm out," like we did last week when we mentioned Trump for like 1 second. But who decides then who's taking the piss and who isn't? Do we get to decide?
That's kind of a point. Yeah.
Common sense, yeah. People? No. There should be some element of common sense. I'm not going to get into this because we will.
There's going to be a line somewhere, right? Who gets to decide where that line is?
Yes,
common sense.
I think common sense is the common denominator.
You have a panel of impartial people come up with what is like the line based on common sense, not based on political favor, not based on anything like that's going to benefit them, but just common sense.
There's no such thing.
Well, there is.
Because mob rule, right? So this is how politics works. You have common sense that we all know that if you're a one-on-one person, how you would behave. But as soon as people get into a group, they will quite happily throw anybody under a bus and call it common sense. It's just when you get groupthink, people become numbers, and that's when things go horribly wrong. Put it this way: if there was a 5'3" person at 300 pounds who's having a heart attack in front of you, are you saying you would not try to help them?
No, because that's different. It's about funding that lifestyle. That's what it's about.
But there is a parallel to it, because what you're saying then is I would help him on a one-to-one level, but my country shouldn't.
The country shouldn't.
Well,
I believe in free healthcare.
Snacks.
We should have free healthcare. That's a universal right. I believe that wholeheartedly. What I don't believe in is having a welfare system where anyone can. I like the idea that anyone can claim it if they need it. If you're in a position where you don't need it, and you're in it, you put yourself in a position health-wise where you're. I don't know. If you've made yourself incredibly fat and now you're depending on the state for help, you should not have money given to you. You should have the help given you to lose the weight and stuff, so you can then be self-sufficient.
But when they have a heart attack, leave them to it.
No, I've just said I believe in free healthcare.
Yeah, but
then there should.
Where do you stop then? Where do you
then
stop?
There should be things in place.
Would you tie their stomach? Do that thing where you can nuke their stomach and they lose weight that way?
If that was the easiest way to do it.
I know a fat bloke that worked a beaut. He had whatever it was, a band or something.
Yeah, my sister-in-law just had it done.
Lost a shitload of weight. Honestly, skin hangs off the man like flapping. It's amazing. Yeah. But so what wouldn't you do then? So if he has a heart attack, you'd still help him.
Yeah.
So what wouldn't you do?
I wouldn't give him the money to begin with to make him eat like McDonald's every single day.
What you're saying is he shouldn't be able to get like disability pay and things like that.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to help themselves, why should we be willing to help?
Being fat, I'm sorry, this is gonna offend some people, but being fat is not a disability.
And it's not, and legally in this country it isn't. You can't get disability. If you then have fat-related disabilities, like your legs just can't take it, then you can get disability for that, but you cannot get disability for being overweight in this country. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So, hey, we're good then. Hey! we've agreed and we've solved everything. That was a good way to start. You talk about movies.
Let's move on to something where we're not going to get cancelled.
I work in social care, so I'm a complete hippie when it comes to these things.
That's one of the reasons I was intrigued for your reaction to it. Was like, what does someone coming from this point of view think? And a Brit across the pond. There have been plenty of people across the world that have been reacting to it, but it's more of a working class anywhere, but hones in on the U.S. of course.
put it this way. I think there's an ideal world, and there's a world that we actually live in, and there's a world where people start drawing these lines and start dictating what you should and shouldn't do. Because I would argue that we should ban smoking. It should be illegal. Tobacco should be illegal. It costs the country way more than even heart disease. Even the heart disease is catching it pretty quick. So I would argue just ban it. Why am I paying for you to have? But people that smoke will say it's my freedom. I'm doing it to myself. Why are you telling me I can't smoke? So, but I just wonder that I'm not sure we should dictate to people what they can and can't do. But we should do incentives like sugar taxes, and we should tax tobacco like crazy to make it exorbitant. We should do things, and sugar tax, I have no problem with that at all. I say, but then if you want to eat, I remember there's this woman. She said she had 11 bags of chips, pie and chips a day, and she was like, I don't know what to do about it. And I can't help but think, just start with like 10. This is a Ricky Gervais joke actually, but it was actually a genuine news report I read. Start with 10 bags of chips a day and go from there, sort of thing.
How do you eat 11 bags of chips a day?
She ate 11 bags of pie and chips every day, and then wondered why she weighed like 900 pounds.
I can eat. Like I am fat, but I could not eat 11 bags of fucking chips every single day.
She was thinking, oh well, Dave. Then it says alcohol's bad for you. So we're going to ban
alcohol and legalize marijuana.
Marijuana's bad for you.
Says who? Willie's still kicking.
I work in mental health. Marijuana in excess is bad for you.
For certain.
Anything in excess is bad for you. Anything. But if you've got any sort of mental health condition, so I always describe it like if the door to your mental health is slightly ajar, marijuana will kick it the fuck in. Right? In an excess. It is proven to cause psychotic breaks, and it's proven to cause
and people predispositioned for those things.
If you've already got certain elements, and eventually, mate, it will affect your cognitive ability. It just will, in excess. Yeah. But I would argue that if you are going on your lunch break and drinking, you've got a problem. If you're going on your lunch break and smoking marijuana, you've got a problem. You know, and I would say it's exactly the same thing because it's excessive.
I would agree with that actually. I wouldn't like. I have no problem smoking marijuana. I have no problem drinking alcohol, but I wouldn't do it during my lunch break at work.
The way those things hit the body are totally different, and the way the body reacts to both those things are totally different.
I agree with you. The problem we've got mainly with marijuana is that because through hybridization we've did this thing where the drug that I always forget. I always get it the wrong way around. Is it THC and something else?
Yeah, THC.
But the one level has gone through the roof in the last 30 years or so. That's the drug that affects you, that makes you feel stoned. That's the drug that can affect your psychosis. It affects neurons and it affects neuronic action in your brain. And that if you've got any sort of open door to any sort of psychosis, it'll kick it in eventually.
Yeah, but the amount of people with psychosis or schizophrenia or the things that do make marijuana bad are such a minor part of the population. Like,
you say that it's about 5%. So if you're talking about 5%, if everybody started smoking marijuana 7-8 times a day, 5% of the population would go into psychosis. We don't have that because 5% people don't smoke. I've worked in mental health for years, mate.
I know, but is that UK or is that global or is that US?
Well, it's a UK statistic, mate, but we're all the same regardless of where you are on the planet, so it will be global.
Okay. I just don't know.
We're all humans at the end of the day. I'm on the sidetrack on the World Health Organization. Sorry, but he started me on something I do feel passionate about. At the end of the day, I would put marijuana and alcohol in the same booth as each other. And I drink, and I'm not going to tell you how you're wrong for smoking marijuana. What I'm telling you, though, is that if you are getting up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is have a joint, that's no different from getting in the morning and the first thing you want to do is have a drink. You've got to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, waking and bacon's a little bit different than it is very different if you've done those things like ever. Like if you taken a couple shots in the morning,
I have a stone a day sometimes, but I go out at lunch and get pissed up and have an all day. Sometimes it's if you're doing it every day.
Oh yeah. But like you said, that's with anything and everything. You can overdrink water, like.
Yeah. Well, it's called drowning, but yes. But no, I know what you mean. You go into we actually had a guy who had to stop drinking water because he did have a OCD behaviors, and he was drinking water. And I can't remember what it's called, but you get poisoned by something, don't you? If you drink too much water, it overfloods the blood, and
your liver's like, and I think it's your liver and your kidney. They're over processing in two different ways, and it's just like you can be too clean, I guess, or it just wipes out the good bacteria just as much as bad.
I believe it waters down your blood too much. It basically waters your blood down, but then it's some metal that builds up, and that's what kills you. I forget. Yes, let's do that. But that was completely Harris's fault.
Oops.
I've just realized that there's a poll section on YouTube, so I'm going to be using that all throughout this stream.
How'd you do it? Show me how to do it afterwards, because I don't know how to do it. So let's do
it. You need to be on actual YouTube to do it.
Okay.
Movies?
Just do the pop-out chat thing. But yes, we're going to end the poll now. Thank you for voting.
Yeah.
We can.
I have a poll I want to talk about later, though. Remind me. Don't let me forget.
We've got options real quick. Do we want to watch clips of the creator, or have y'all heard about Rebel Moon's two-part?
I'm excited about Rebel Moon. I cannot wait for Rebel Moon. So, crack
on.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Rebel Moon as well.
Let's jump into that a little bit. Oh, howdy, Schmook. What's happening? Y'all check out the afterthoughts for Ahsoka last night, episode 3. A little more exciting. It was still slow for half of it, though, Jamie. I'll tell you when you can hop back in, because you might not want to hop back in yet.
I tried to watch the second episode, mate, and I hated it.
Matt is all grown up now, finding the poll tab.
What?
I'm all grown up now.
Okay, so Rebel Moon, though. Old Zack Snyder and Netflix have announced that it is coming out in 2 parts, and is what the trailer told us. We were not aware of that. Just that alone, does that make you less or more excited for it?
Say again.
Rebel Moon has been divided into 2 parts. It's going to, I think, release one this November, December, and then the next one is probably next, I think it's only like 5 or 6 months out. So it'll be like summer blockbuster.
I mean, I'm still excited for it. I feel like a lot of TV shows now are being divided into two parts anyway, so I'm just kind of used to it.
Do you think that would hurt the film possibly? Kind of like Mission Impossible just was split into 2, and the first part did not do nearly what people wanted or expected it to do.
Didn't it? I thought it. Oh, it didn't like it. It didn't quite do Top Gun numbers, did it? So people thought.
Oh, no. Paramount was
eating it. Is it a TV show or a movie? It's a movie. Is it a movie?
Mission Impossible?
No, it's
Rebel Moon,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, Rebel Moon will be a Netflix movie.
Okay.
It will be one that they put Glass Onion, the second Knives Out movie, out for like a week or 2 in theaters. So I'm assuming Rebel Moon, if they want to have a movie in theaters, it's one that they would put out there for a little bit. So fingers crossed, at least capital cities, big cities, film-oriented cities will have it in theaters for a little bit. This is my opinion on the trailer. I couldn't tell what the hell was going on. I wanted to. And then the second I realized it was a first part to a second part, and the trailer was that convoluted, I was like, there's no actual story happening here. We didn't get any story beats in this trailer. It threw me off, and my brain since then has been, I think the creator is going to be the sci-fi epic that I prefer over Rebel Moon this year.
Do you think he's Zack Snyder this, and is that what we're saying?
I think he's Zack Snyder this, and the thing that Netflix announced right after they announced it was a 2-parter was, or Snyder announced this bit was, he's doing 2 director's cuts. He's doing a director cut for each one. So why not just make it a long movie? First of all, it's already split in 2. Why not just make it a long movie like Zack Snyder's Justice League? And is it just cash and vanity that he's looking for 2 director's cuts after he split the movie into 2 that was supposed to be 1 in the first place? Because we know Disney would not have split it into 2. It was originally meant to be a Disney Star Wars film. it was going to be one movie. Now that it's in 2, and then it has 2 director's cuts with 30, 40 extra minutes, if not an hour and a half, knowing Zack Snyder on each one. Is that disrespectful to Netflix and its audience by just kind of dragging you along more and more? And hey, you need to watch this. Oh, actually, if you want to know more about this going in the future, you need to watch this. Is it doing what Marvel does with their TV shows too quickly?
It depends, because you can look at it cynically and go, have they realized they can make more money? Yay. Or have they gone into the editing suite and gone, this stuff is gold, but it's 4 hours long. Let's cut it into 2. It's too long, but I don't want to cut, the director could be like, I don't want to cut that out. I don't want to cut this. Because sometimes, how often do you see movies and they're cut down to like 2 hours or even 90 minutes sometimes, because some movies, they think comedies can't be more than 90 minutes long because the audience gets bored and walks out. But how many times have you seen a film and you think, I can't wait for the director's cut because they edited the crap out of that, and it's like, so it's
not often though, because how many director's cuts really come out? It's not like that's not like a
okay. Well, Aliens, the first Aliens, the second Aliens movie, the director's cut for that is like 3 and a bit hours long. They could have they could have split that into 2 movies if they made that now, and the directors there like going, I don't want to cut all this front spit out of the start. It like explains the rest of the movie, but they cut it out for the cinematic release because it had to be under 2 hours. So I mean, I actually agree with you, but I think sometimes I don't think we're going to know until we see it. If we watch it and we then go in, because sometimes you watch films and you think that would have been great if they'd cut half an hour out of that. And so sometimes you go the other way. What's it like? Watched recently? I thought it was one of the superhero movies, and I forget which one now because they're all blurring together.
I think we just talked about it too. It wasn't Blue Beetle though. You didn't.
I haven't seen Blue Beetle yet. I probably won't. It might have been The Flash that we're thinking, yeah, that would have been a great film if they'd cut about half an hour out of it, because it just certain elements of it just dragged on. So I don't think we're going to know until we see it, mate. At the end of the day, if it's 2-hour movies, but they're epic and they're boom, 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 boom. Like when they sorry, I'm on a rant tonight. I don't know.
I like it.
Harry Potter. They split the last movie into 2, and everyone went, cash grab. I'm there going, no, those are 2 perfectly good films. I think they needed to. I'd rather have 2 2-hour films than 1 4-hour film. And I think it worked. I think it needed to be done. And yes, it was part of, I'm actually certain the executives weren't there going, turn it into 2 films and double my money? No. Where's your ethics? I'm absolutely certain they're going, yay.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, Mockingjay followed suit immediately.
Well, yeah. But if the director's there going, I need 2 films, we'll know when we watch it.
Yes. I agree with everything you just said. It's just Snyder himself puts a little a twist in it all, I guess, just being him.
That's my concern. I remember the Snyder's cut of Justice League was amazing, but there's a lot in it.
Could have been cut down just a little bit.
I need a director's cut of that director's cut.
I don't know about that. Did y'all see Army of Thieves? That's one of my biggest hesitations as well. Did y'all not Army of Thieves? Army of the Dead, the zombie movie he did.
The Netflix film he did last year.
Yeah,
it was dreary in places.
It was god awful. I thought it was the worst thing he might have ever put to screen. And that really and that it scares me because he put robot zombies, he put smart zombies, he put aliens in the background of stuff. He put a lot of cool concepts in it and expected people to be excited about the concepts, and then completely chose to forget the narrative. And I don't like.
He put stuff in that he then seemed to forget to follow through with. Was it there was that big chainsaw thing or something, and they made a big deal of it early in the film, and they just never really.
You know what all that was? He had 2 or 3 greenlit things from Netflix already that were like, all right, if you do this movie, we'll get a sequel, and then we'll have this other prequel series. We're gonna have another sequel series here. It was just because he had other things to go jump into, which I do not think is a good excuse to screw the narrative, the main core narrative that you're doing. And I worry with that trailer, it being split into 2 parts, and then there wasn't any actual narrative in that trailer. And the narrative we got was minuscule at best. I'm worried because that Rebel Moon, if it was supposed to be Star Wars, you know how Star Wars feels to me. And although I do poo-poo on Zack Snyder nowadays a little bit more than I'd like to, Watchmen still may be my favorite comic book film, or in my top 2 or 3. I adore Watchmen. I adore all of his early work.
Yeah.
But just recent.
Watchmen is brilliant, though, because it's not a superhero movie. It's so different. And I thought he captured the tone of the comic beautifully. But even that film, you're thinking, it's not an action movie. That's the point. It is a drama. There's lots of things going on there. But if that was an action movie, it's way too long and it's way too dreary. So if you look at it from a different perspective, you know what I mean? If you don't look at it as what it is, if you go into that expecting a hero movie, you're walking out halfway through. Why's that big blue guy got a massive dong? And then you walk out. But if you go in knowing what you're going into, you can appreciate it and you love it. But it's long.
Just I don't know. I'd like for him to get back to good narrative at least. Like that focuses so much on narrative. That 300 was right before it. Like I mean, all the things he was doing then. I just worry we're gonna get an Army of the Dead, or even I just wasn't a big fan of Batman versus Superman. I still don't like Man of Steel. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. It's one of my favorite, maybe my favorite Superman. But Man of Steel is not a Superman movie.
But I'm the idiot that thinks generally DC's best movie is Batman versus Superman. You take out, why'd you say that name? Take that bit out. I love it.
It still doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah, the why'd you say that name bit, and I'm like going, oh, way to ruin a movie in like 3 seconds. That's really impressive. But other than that, they should do a Jamie cut of that, where I'll just cut that bit out, and I'll put in a sensible reason why Batman wouldn't kill Superman, and I'd cut out that bit when the android thing comes through the time portal and Bruce. I'd cut that bit out as well because it's stupid. But other than that,
the android, it was
Cyborg.
The Flash. It was the Flash.
He had a mustache and he was a black guy.
It was the Flash.
I thought it was supposed to be Cyborg.
It was Ezra Miller.
That comes through the time portal and tries to warn Bruce when he's fallen asleep at the computer and he wakes up. Was that Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be Cyborg.
He was wearing like some like janky Flash because he's like from an alternate timeline kind of thing. He's from the Flashpoint timeline.
You can't really see what it is, but it's a stupid part of the movie anyway. Superman.
It didn't need to happen because they never followed through with it anyway.
No, they didn't follow through with it at all. The director's cut for Watchmen is absolutely amazing, Peter. So good. So good. So
okay, Jay's frantically trying to prove us wrong.
No, interested. I thought it was a black guy with a mustache.
It was a very dirty Ezra Miller from the time.
Dirty, and they turned out to be a dirty Ezra Miller as well. Dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's on. I love that scene. As soon as Ezra Miller appears, and I'm just going, okay now. But then the Batman fight scene when he comes in through the window, awesome. The Batman when he's fighting Superman, awesome.
Do you know what the cool? This is. I'll preface this with a little. This is sarcasm. Do you know what the coolest bit of that entire movie was? How like the Justice League was got together through emails. He put the Justice League together through email clips. It's the most entertaining cinematic thing possible.
Can't really see that. See, isn't that a black guy with a mustache?
That is Ezra Miller in a Flash.
That is not Ezra Miller.
It is.
Yeah, it isn't.
It is.
It looks nothing like him.
It's Ezra Miller.
It isn't.
It is.
It's a black guy.
He's not black either.
How does that look like Ray Fisher?
Right, go back a bit. Go back a bit when you first started talking. That is not Ezra Miller.
That is.
Oh no, I can see it now in his eyes. It's Ezra Miller. I can see it in his eyes. Yeah, it's Ezra Miller. It's not a mustache. It's his shadow of his top lip. It's Ezra Miller. So what's all that other crap around him then, and all like the thing? Because I thought that
he's
was
got long hair for some reason, and he's got some really weird Flash suit because it's supposed to be the Flash from the future in an alternate timeline. going back to warn Bruce, basically about Flashpoint. He's fucked up the timeline, but they never ended up doing that anyway, so it's irrelevant.
I can see it in his eyes now. It's Ezra Miller. It's a stupid bit of the scene of the movie and just block it out of my memory.
That movie is blocked out of my memory.
If we got that Flash, the Flash movie would have been 10 times better. I love the Flash movie, don't get me wrong, but it would have been 10 times better.
The Flash movie was terrible.
I liked it. I really did like it. But
I
love
the only way it could have, if he'd have started juggling babies, I'd have been like, thank you. Yes, I do. I genuinely think I do need to get my eyes done again. Genuinely think I might do, actually. I was having this problem a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to read something. I was like, oh, crap, I need my eyes done again.
Oh, God. I'm pulling my cousin Vinny. You need thicker glasses. It's
time for a new set, love. Yeah.
New set. Or some LASIK. Talk about all that healthcare stuff, right? Get you some help.
My brother had that done. I'm all right with glasses. I'll be all right.
What did you call it? LASIK?
LASIK surgery?
Yeah, laser eye surgery. They've just created it. They've just put those words together. He's American. Let him go. Let's leave it.
That didn't need to be shortened.
No. I've just realized.
It might sound scary to get laser eye surgery, though. LASIK sounds like I got a new pair of contacts.
Store and get some LASIK.
That's what we need, a little shot of LASIK. Oh, very nice. It sounds like something you've got when you can't go to the toilet. You need a bit of LASIK, don't you?
Yeah.
You need a bit of
My
LASIK.
mom got it, and now she can't drive at night because whenever she drives at night, all she sees is just dots of light everywhere. Any light that comes in after night is just like screwed.
It ruins your eye. It makes your eyes better for a bit, and then it deteriorates apparently quite quickly.
What?
It's a butt plug joke. We keep talking about butt plugs on the channel because we've become a butt plug channel for some reason, and I blame Stormy because he's not here.
It is Stormy.
I was about to say I did tell the story in my back.
It was Harris's fault, but we will blame Stormy.
No, because Stormy was carrying it on.
Stormy carried it on, but Harris is the one that brought it up.
Oh, I thought it was.
I did versus
I've
Russia
slept
story.
since then. Sorry, Stormy.
He brought up the Philadelphia thing, and then that's put Stormy on a tangent, and then our lovely people in the comments wouldn't let it go. So,
I'll say this is a natural journey from the orifice to where we've become, where we've gotten.
It's one small step through the orifice.
One small step. You eventually find the plug. You know,
there is that. I think Shelley was on, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she had a unique product. A unique product. A Cytrek logoed one last step through the orifice mug. Nobody else has one. Just Shelley. I've never put them on the sale. I just did it just for Shelley. And not being a Stargate fan, I had no fucking clue why I did it.
I could just imagine her opening that one.
I'm touching her orifice.
What is it?
She just messaged me going, "What?" I was like, it amused me. I'm so sorry.
When we see Shelley in person ever, I'm just gonna go like just orifice. It's not all hail to Ori or anything like that. We're just orifice.
Shelley, if you've still got it, stick a photo on the group for us all to have a look at your orifice. The mug.
I was about to say that was worded a little interestingly there.
Someone clip
We'd
that.
love to see it. Yeah, someone's going to clip that. Were we talking about movies?
Well, we were talking about director's cuts and Rebel Moon and all of these things. So, with the director's cuts thought process we've already been down, does it make you more excited that Ridley Scott has said he has a 4-hour version of Napoleon and he might want to do a director's cut for that? Does that seem more like an applicable version of a director's cut more so than possibly Vanity?
A lot happened in Napoleon's life, so don't get me wrong. But you know, the first thing that made me think about that is when I thought about Braveheart. Braveheart ends about 4 times, and you're like, "Oh, that's a great movie. It's time to go now." It's still going. Okay, excellent. There's another battle. Brilliant. watch that one. Oh, he's won. Oh no, it's not done yet. I kept trying to leave the damn cinema and it wouldn't let me. Napoleon's going to be like that.
It's like that mate that comes around that won't leave your house. Just
Yeah.
carries on talking. You're slapping your knee like, right, and they're like, oh, and they carry on.
It's like Stormy on a YouTube video. Okay, so bye everybody. And Stormy like says something really interesting. Bollocks with for the next 20 minutes. Right.
Well, I kind of hope it's like Braveheart, because believe it or not, it might be a bit cheesy, but it's great. Braveheart's my favorite film ever, probably.
Great film.
I love Braveheart. And then Lord of the Rings also ends like 7 times, and that's what there too. So
yeah, it's just that it won't end bit. But yeah, no, good films. But and I tell you what, I do think it's a movie that's worth doing because it's a fascinating story and it's obviously historically accurate. It's going to be a bit like Oppenheimer. It's not the sort of film you'll watch more than once, probably, but it'd be I'm absolutely certain it'll be amazing. And a 4-hour version of that. A lot happened.
do you think that is more applicable? Like, does that deserve a director's cut more so than like, hey, this is your very first film in a possible film franchise? Before you start releasing director's cuts, splitting things into 2, like get us hooked first kind of deal. I just feel like this is much more applicable for a director's cut of a film than Rebel Moon. Either part would be per se. This would feel more like Watchmen for like that 4 hours or something like that, because that's not a vanity project. Alan Moore's comics were one of the most well-respected comics ever made. And that kind of equated and deserved that extra director's cut after the fact, I would feel like, where someone's new project is like, okay, you're looking into it a little too much. Don't think of yourself that much. Just put it in the movie if you want it there. Obviously, he has more control than probably your average director does, average producer.
Yeah. From a financial point of view, though, as well, I'd be there going, we can't sell Blu-rays for love nor money. Nobody wants to buy Blu-ray. But you release a director's cut of a film people like in a nice fancy box and, stick a toy on the front or something. That's how we sell Blu-rays nowadays. We sell special edition director cuts, one-off things, collector's editions. So do the movie, then do a director's cut and try and sell the Blu-ray. And people will still buy it. People like collecting stuff. Put it in a nice metal case and, if I was Disney, somebody else, that's what Paramount, that's what Warner Brothers do now. Warner Brothers doing that. They're doing digital downloads, but then they sell the DVDs and they sell them as special editions with loads of added extras, which is what we do anyway. But they do it in a way that you can't watch this on TV. You can't get this on a streaming service. You can only buy it on Blu-ray. And it's like, that's why to sell it.
Just
and
wait
people will
till
buy
I
it.
find out about the Bay.
Until this numbnuts buys the Babylon 5 The Road Home movie and then remembers he hasn't got a Blu-ray player anymore because it's at the...
Do you have a PlayStation?
Yeah, you get an Xbox.
No, I've got a newer Xbox and it hasn't got a Blu-ray player because I've got the newer one.
The digital version.
Yeah. So I've got a Blu-ray player and it's at my caravan in North Wales. So I can't watch the damn film until I go to the caravan in 3 weeks. I asked my dad if I could borrow his Blu-ray player and he said no. Because my dad hates me.
Someone needs to donate some money right now so Jay can buy himself a Blu-ray player.
Get in the super chats, and the first person gives 50 quid so I can buy a Blu-ray player. Thank you for don't.
If that fucking works, don't actually do it.
Let me go and buy a Blu-ray player tomorrow. I don't even know how to buy a Blu-ray player.
Apparently, you could just play it online. I don't know how that works.
Oh, I haven't opened it yet. I bet there bloody is as well. There'll be a digital download code, won't there? John, you don't have to give any super chats. I love you. You're my new favorite person. If there is a code in there so I can digital download it, I am going to have John Campbell's babies.
From now on, all comments are banned unless you're super chatting. Unless you're John.
Unless you're John. John, you can comment. Nobody else can comment. Super chat and super thanks. Thank you very much. No.
Or if you're a member.
I've got a popcorn power, or if you remember, I've got a caravan in North Wales. Do you not, guys? Do you know every few weeks I release videos where I'm walking on a beach? It's because I've got a caravan up North Wales, and I go up there, and in a couple of months, I'll be doing like a week's worth of videos up there because I'm going up for a week.
Do you caravan with the Furies? John Fury, Tyson Fury, Tommy Fury?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a caravan, mate, by the beach.
They're the biggest like the family right now.
It's a nice place to go at the weekend. That's all. But yes,
Is
but we
it
haven't been.
though? It's Wales.
North Wales. It's lovely. By the beach.
I know Wales is lovely. I've got a Welsh mate. I like taking the piss out of Wales, so I'll just bring it
If
here.
you would throw in some super chats, it'll help me pay for the caravan if you don't mind. That'd be great. So there's a lot of alcohol in this, by the way. So this chat is going to go deteriorate really quickly.
I've got a bottle of wine downstairs that I got for my birthday that I have opened it actually. That's a lie. I took a swig of it this morning, but I'm going to enjoy that after this stream, and I'm having a steak.
Actually, what kind of steak?
I don't know. It's a sirloin, something like that.
Ooh.
I saw there's a tomahawk steak in Aldi at the moment for 20 quid.
Yes, my missus sent me a picture of it. She went to Aldi the other day, and I went, "Yes, get it." She was like, "No."
No.
I wouldn't know how to cook it. I don't think I've got a frying pan big enough.
Carefully.
I got a frying pan.
Like it'd be like a Winnebago or something, huh?
No.
That tomahawk I had when I went out was, I'm telling you, I ate the whole tomahawk, but those chips and all the things on the side, I'm like,
yeah. Did you have meat sweats? Meat sweats afterwards.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was like 40 ounces or something like that. It was huge.
Yeah. No, the caravan is a caravan, right? So you know, like the what do you call those big metal beautiful things you have in America? The
Airstreams or Winnebago.
Right, it's like that. Well, no, Winnebago's got an engine and you drive it, don't you? It's an RV, a recreational vehicle in it, right? It's not. It's something you would drag, but you don't because they're massive. So if they're on the road, so you couldn't drag it around. They're static homes. I've got a static caravan. It can't go anywhere. It's like one of those beautiful RV, one of those beautiful bullet things, whatever they're called, Silver Stream things, whatever, but crap. Right? So it's a lot squarer, but it has got a lovely kitchen. The kitchen's nicer than my kitchen at home. It's very nice. But there's about that much space between the bed and the wall when I get out of bed. So I can just about get my leg in. Yeah. Okay. But it still costs like 40 grand. So it's not cheap. And it costs like 10 grand a year to run. And it's not cheap. But I give it out.
Wait, you bought it outright? You don't rent it?
Yeah, I bought it. It's mine. But then I rented out to Haven. I've said to you previously, I've got a caravan.
I know you said to me, but I'm wondering, do you rent it out in the spare time to make your money back?
But what it is, we haven't been for the last 2 months, so I haven't done a nice video of me walking on the beach because in the summer holidays it's too busy and we don't want to drive up North Wales and summer holidays. It's crap in it. You end up sitting half the time in the bloody traffic. So we rent out to Haven and we make our money in the Haven. So it actually doesn't cost us anything because we make enough money to cover it on the and just in the summer holidays, pretty much. People really do seem to be struggling to understand what this caravan is. It's just
imagine a really tiny house.
The next one is trailer house.
It looks like it could have wheels, but it doesn't. It's actually on bricks.
Mine's on wheels.
Okay, well, Jay's apparently is on wheels. But the wheels don't do anything because they don't move.
They're completely irrelevant. Right. It's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something completely useless then. But I couldn't think of anything funny, so we'll move on. But it has wheels. They all have wheels, but they're completely useless. They're only any good for moving the damn thing every like 2 or 3 years when you sell it and like upgrade and they have to move them, sort of thing.
I'm going to share a link right now. This is basically what it is.
We don't share that link. Jay, send your Airbnb link out there.
But I think Jay's is probably better than this.
It's a mobile home. I think that's what Poor and Power's got. It's a mobile home. I think that's what you guys call them, isn't it? And
it's a mobile home that doesn't move.
But it doesn't move. It can move, but it doesn't. And if they drive them down the road, they have to have a big van in front of it with big yellow lights going wide load coming, because they're wider than the road. And you have to go, oh, Jesus. And this has been a very long conversation about my caravan.
It's been entertaining.
Which, Matthew, you are welcome to use. It's a marvelous site for children and cheap as chips. I charge half what Haven charge to friends. So you pay 2/3, something like that. I might even give you a weekend for free, but I'm not going to.
Ask for a birthday gift while you can.
I actually, I should be going to Wales at some point in the next couple of years because my friend's getting married. I might actually ask you.
If it's anywhere near Prestatyn, Prestatyn, you are welcome to my caravan.
It might be. I don't know, but hopefully I'll have a caravan then anyway, so I can just drive to wherever it is because Wales ain't that big.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. What are we talking about?
How do you body parts in the wheel wells?
I don't murder anybody anymore. I've stopped doing that.
Oh, that's good.
It's really hard work cutting up bodies, man. It takes ages.
You notice he's not mentioned his nemesis for a while. There's a reason for that.
Blah, blah, blah.
He's stopped messaging. I haven't heard of him for a little while.
Oh, those wheel wells.
I haven't had to block anybody on this channel for months. And I don't like blocking anyone. I think I don't think censorship's right. But if somebody's becoming a dick, I'll get rid of them. I think I've blocked 3 people, maybe 4 people. But I suspect they were all the same person. I think they were all the same person.
It's not censorship, though, is it? You're just blocking them from your channel. They can still comment on other YouTube channels. They can do whatever they want elsewhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if somebody gets personal or they start attacking this guy started attacking other subscribers, because somebody would defend me and they'd start attacking them, and I'm like, that's that. You've crossed the line now. Done. You're gone.
When it's about corruption.
If he just wants to call me a liar, I'm like, yeah, get in line. But yeah, I get that at work every day, so no stress. But yeah, he started attacking other people, so I'm like, nah, go.
Well, shall we move on back to a little film-oriented talking, possibly?
Is that what the stream's about? Are we actually?
It might be. I don't know.
Cinema today.
Should we talk about what underwear we're all wearing at the moment? Because I got some new underwear and it's pleasant. I'm just thinking that we've talked about everything but movies throughout this entire video. Boxers or briefs? What we're going?
Commando. What?
No. I need a little bit of cuppage. I need a little bit of support now. I do not want my winky rubbing up and down the inside of my jean zip.
Are we actually talking about this?
I'm from the swamp. You got to have open air.
What's underwear?
Jay's wearing underwear with like little red hearts on it.
Special Valentine gifts.
Harris won't get this, but I've got Y fronts on, and they're brown and the Y is cream. I genuinely, that's a horrific joke, but I had a pair of pants like that when I was a kid, and I got bullied because my parents would not buy me normal pants.
I've not wore Y fronts since I must have been like 9.
Yeah, I was like 8 or 9 or something. My parents, we were poor. We were poor. Boxers, supportive but freeing. Movies. So
the funny thing is that this is not the first time we've had that conversation. SCIFI said, "Don't say pants." Harris would get confused, and him saying that, there was an entire like 15 minutes at one point where y'all explained to me what pants and all that was, which was pretty.
No, we have to go through. Oh, fuck's sake, we have to explain this to the American again.
Well, I don't know if we need to again. I think I got it.
Yeah,
I hope.
It's not called football if you don't actually use your feet. And that's
one guy does.
That's kind of the way the conversation. You kick the ball occasionally. It's anyway. Americans can't help you. I've done a list.
I do find it funny how everyone else in the UK calls underwear pants, right? But in Liverpool, pants are just trousers.
Really?
Yeah.
Pants, so they've got the. Is that?
They've Americanized it, yeah.
Interesting.
I lived there for like 6, 7 years, 8, 9 years, something like that.
We used to call pants we used to call some pairs of trousers pants, but it was a specific type of trouser. I
Suit
don't
pants,
know when
yeah.
we then started calling underwear pants. I don't know how that happened. But originally, we called some types of trousers pants.
Well,
I think if they were
growing,
fitted, they were
growing up
pants.
as a kid, underwear was always pants for me. And then when I moved to Liverpool when I was 9, and I said something about pants, they'd assume I was talking about trousers.
Hmm.
Or they'd
Okay.
say something, or they'd say something about pants, and I'd assume it was about underwear. And I'd be like, "What are you telling me about your underwear for?" Like, and I've always found it really weird. And obviously now I've moved away from Liverpool and I live in the Midlands. Not in where did you think I live? Dudley. I don't live in Dudley.
Yeah, you need to remember, drop a message.
Derby.
Actually, live in
Derby.
Derby.
Yeah. You said Dudley.
Oh yeah, no, I meant Derby. By Birmingham.
Dudley is by Birmingham.
Dudley, not Dudley.
Every
Dudley.
time I say Dudley, I think Harry Potter.
No, I knew that. I
Anyway,
knew.
everywhere else in the UK, pants is underwear. So I'm back like to my roots again. It's great.
Now, I brought this up as a joke, and we've been talking about it way too long. So I did a list very, very quickly of movies that are coming out between now and Christmas, and I just picked a couple. Do you want to have a quick game of yay or nay?
Let's do some yay or nay.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about whatever you actually wanted to talk about when you set this video up.
Pantaloons.
Pantaloons. Is that where it comes from? Pantaloons, because a pantaloon is a type of trouser. I think that's where it comes from. Anyway, so has Blue Beetle actually come out yet?
Yes.
Right. So the first list, I'm thinking, have you seen it?
Yes.
Any good?
Yeah. It's
I'm not
super
watching it.
derivative. It's more like smack dab, like in the middle.
The trailer looks good. I want
DC, though, that's amazing. That's like ding, 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 ding for DC.
Oh yeah. It's the best DC movie they've done in a long time. The only issue is, I guess, it's coming out in between. It is new DC, but you can't really tell that it's new DC. So people are like, should I watch it? Should I not watch it? It's good, but it's extremely derivative. It's not very original.
Aquaman 2 is going to be the last of the Zaslav changes, isn't it? I think that's that one. Okay, so Blue Beetle. Nah, I'm not.
Can we make this a poll?
I've got like.
We
10.
have to do polls for too many of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll do the last one as a poll if it's a good one.
Okay.
Do Creator or Rebel Moon for poll?
Yeah, Creator or Rebel Moon for a poll. There you do. Right. These aren't all sci-fi movies, by the way. I've just picked the movies that I'm thinking interesting. Equalizer 3 to make up the trilogy.
Comes out tonight.
You going tonight? I was going to say it's out this weekend, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Always America. Always get it a week before us. I can't wait. I thought the first two were great. Can't wait.
I still haven't finished the second one, so I
live.
haven't. I'm not going to go watch it.
Sweet.
I need to watch the second one.
It's okay. It's not as good as the first one. Haunting in Venice, the new Poirot movie with Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, I love him.
Anything Branagh. Anything Branagh.
Anything Branagh. Kenneth Branagh is one of my favorite actors of all time. Did you ever see that Nazi movie he did? It was something called the Final Solution or something like that. It was called, and all British actors obviously and things. But Kenneth Branagh played a Nazi, blonde hair, slick back, and they're basically having a meeting to discuss the Holocaust and planning the Holocaust. Kenneth Branagh is terrifying. And you know, like people go, "Oh, he's so scary," but they're not. No, you are repulsed by him all the way through. It is phenomenally good. Honestly, go find it. I think it's called Final Solution, but I'll find it for you, Harris. Go and watch it. It was about 15 years ago. This film came out.
I love Kenneth
because the whole film is basically them in a room, so it's intense as hell. Them discussing it, and the one guy slowly realizing what they're talking about and what this final solution is. Phenomenal. The Expendables 4. Not a freaking chance.
Oh, I'm going.
Right, okay. I will watch it when it comes out on stream.
The third one was awful, but the first two were legit dumb fun. I hope it goes back to dumb fun.
They are popcorn movies. Oh, did Matt die?
No, he
That would be
keeled
horrible if he
over.
died on his birthday. Oh no, he's back. He's live.
I was like, he just keeled over on his birthday. What just happened?
I dropped something.
So Expendables 4, I will watch on a streaming service. I'm not going to cinema to watch it. Craven the Hunter.
I'm not gonna love going to see it. I'm gonna go into it with an attitude like this, but I will go see it.
I think it might be good. I like the actor in it though. I like Aaron
I
Taylor
love
Johnson.
Aaron Johnson.
I hope he gets Bond.
If it's not Cavill, I want it to be him.
Yeah, I was told it's definitely not going to be Cavill.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir?
Joe just said happy birthday to me, so I said thank you.
Oh, thank you, Joe. It's not my birthday, but it's very sweet. So we're not sure about Craven.
Yeah, and just because it's so different from the actual character Craven the Hunter. Like, this is PETA's version of Craven, which I'm not nearly as excited for.
Well, there's a movie called True Love coming out, which is directed by the guy that did Rogue One. Is it Gareth Edwards? I forgot to write his name down. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it's a sci-fi movie. I spoke to somebody that actually has been working on it. He's part of the editing suite, and he's been working on it. And he says, he's an old mate of mine. I've known him years. And he says, you're going to freaking love this film. This film is right up your alley.
It's not called True Love.
What's it called? It's called True Love over here.
The Creator.
Is that the Creator?
That's what we've been talking about.
Working on it.
That's what we've been talking about.
Title.
True Love is what he wanted to call it. He just said, I think he said in an interview that he couldn't call it that, or the studio didn't want to call it that.
I'm sorry, I've not read the message right. Yeah, he says it's called The Creator.
It's The Creator.
He's been telling me about this film for 9 months.
I'm so excited for it. It's not even funny. That's why, like, people are so pumped about Rebel Moon. I'm like, hey, let's talk about The Creator a little bit more. This is like true sci-fi, where Rebel Moon will be more sci-fantasy, but.
Well, this guy says, I didn't tweet that. I've seen the trailer for trailer, and I didn't put two and two together. That's what he was talking about. He's been talking to me about this film since before Christmas. And he was just saying, I've been doing a bit of work on it. You are going to love it. And he says, this is right up your alley. You're going to love it. It's high concept with action, and it'll make you think as well. There's layers to it, sort of thing. And there's no right or wrong. So I think that's what he's saying. From a morality point of view, it makes you think. And he says, he keeps saying this right up my alley. So the working title was True Love. I really just need to read emails better. So yeah, we're on ding ding ding.
I don't have enough fingers and hands for this. Just as many.
If anything else pops up, mate, we're in trouble. We're gonna have arguments. I put Rebel Moon on the list. June 2. Are we excited about June 2, if ever that comes out?
It's 2024 now, March 15th.
Well, June 3 might come out before June 2.
They gotta film that thing first.
Well, they give us more news on June 3 recently. Is anybody going to watch the new Aquaman?
Yeah, just for the sake of it, but like literally for the sake of an out of theater reaction. That is why I'm watching that movie.
Yeah, I'm not watching it. I love Jason Momoa. I'm not watching that crap. And there's Spaceman, a Netflix movie with Adam Sandler. And the only reason I've mentioned that is because I actually read the book that it's based on when I was a kid, and it confused the hell out of me, and I had no clue what was going on. But I think it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek. But it's based on a book called Spaceman of Bohemia. And it's mental. So we'll see what happens with that. That's a Netflix movie coming out.
Not funny, more actual like drama focused.
I don't know, mate. I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's the 4th Netflix movie, I think, with Adam Sandler, and this is part of his because he had that multi-movie deal, and I think this is the last one of it. So I don't think there is a new Prometheus movie coming, isn't there? Obviously we've got a load of alien stuff coming.
We have a new Alien movie and an Alien TV series coming. I don't know if it'll correlate with Prometheus at all. I'm sure it will to a degree, but like to that degree, I'm not sure.
But I think there's some interesting movies coming out and a lot of sci-fi movies coming out. But an awful lot of movies I'm not watching.
I'm happy at the end of the day that Dune did get pushed back into 2024, though. I think it helps two different things. For like sci-fi wise, obviously we have The Creator and Rebel Moon at the tail end of this year, which those will be like those big sci-fi epics. Which one will win out? at least loses a little bit of competition there. So that's nice. So hopefully it'll be the big sci-fi epic of 2024 over Rebel Moon Part 2. But it was going to go against, I think it won 6 out of 10 nominations that it had for the Oscars last time, Dune Part 1. And those were all technical categories. Denis Villeneuve, who did amazing directing it and putting it all together, didn't even get a frickin' nomination. So I think them pushing it to March allows Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese's with Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer to kind of duke it out a little bit. Probably Baumbach and Gerwig with Barbie a little bit too. Those will kind of be like the big heavy hitters, I think, for the Academy. And that might let Dune actually get some accolades next year, which would be cool.
I watched Barbie, by the way.
Did you finally watch it? That didn't. Yay, nay? Somewhere in the middle?
Stupid film. It's quite good in places. I had to watch it because people kept telling me about this patriarchy and the matriarchy and how it's just like basically is inciting a whole generation of women to murder their dads. And I think that's generally the gist. So I watched it, and I'll tell you what, patriarchy bad. Patriarchy bad. Patriarchy bad. Patriarchy bad. Oh, honestly, it's just like, okay, I get it. And then she kept going. So I can understand why some people. I actually think patriarchy is bad. I think matriarchy is. I think any one gender dominating another gender bad. But we should be a partnership. I'm not the man of the house. Me and my wife are partners in the house. Even though if there is a spider, she deals with it. But if there's a strange man at the door, I deal with it. That's the rule. I will deal with the burglars. She will deal with freaking spiders. That is the agreement we had when we got married, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. I have a plan, though. If there's a burglar in the house in the night, I'm running at him naked because there's no burglar in this world that is going to fight me if I'm naked. He's going to run away. Run towards him.
Especially if you wake up with morning glory.
You can fight him off with your plugs.
I went quiet for about 2 minutes there because I just watched the trailer for The Creator. And yes,
because John David Washington and sci-fi.
You've been talking about this all stream, and I've been like, I've no idea what he's on about. No idea what he's on about.
It's just cultural love, and I can't believe I cannot. You don't have to understand how much I cannot believe I didn't put those two things together.
That's what I'm hearing.
I know one of the people that have worked on it, and he says it's awesome.
Good. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that from like the horse's mouth themselves, like the people that were physically there, that are like, yeah, they captured magic. I'm excited to see what's on screen. I think in like 3 weeks.
29th, it said.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still editing it. They're still working on it. That's a concern. He's told me that they were still, or at least a couple of weeks ago, they were still working on it.
Well, they can do that up until the day before, like still just
with digital
tweaking little tiny things.
They do.
Hopefully,
and if they've had little reshoots or little twigs here and there, they're
not even. It's probably just like tweaks on the CG at that point, I would think.
Yeah. Well, you can tweak the editing though, can't you? You do the editing, you watch it, you think that's not quite, the flow there isn't quite right. That's what he do. He's an editor. That's what he does. He says a thing. I've tried to get him to give me a few tips on editing, and he just says you're a hopeless case. There's no chance. He genuinely refuses to give me any tips.
It happens. I'd be in the same boat.
He says if we start that conversation, it'll never end.
You want editing tips?
That's harsh.
Editing tips. Hayden Hillier Smith. I think he just goes by Hillier on YouTube now. He is like the G for editing.
Okay. I won't go in. I won't learn. I'll carry on doing it the way I do it. Sorry, people.
All right. Well, okay. The creator, though, just while we're thinking about that, Gareth Edwards did an AMC kind of big old interview. I guess they showed the movie off early, possibly, at AMC in Century City last night. And Deadline has a whole bunch of different little video clips, half a minute long, 45 seconds long, 2 minutes long. and they're all good. I love that he set this movie in 2070, and while he was being interviewed yesterday, or 2077 maybe, and he said, "Well, after I made the movie, because he made it during the pandemic, I guess, and literally right after the pandemic, all this AI stuff starts coming out. He's like, I should have set it for like 2 years from now, and not 2077." Which is just kind of funny, but that's where we're at. We're becoming a sci-fi movie more and more every day, which is kind of cool.
We are living in lots of ways. I think we'll have to do a video on this at some point. If you look at sci-fi movies like 30 years ago, in some ways we've already surpassed it. Star Trek back in the day, the computers were crap. Our computers are way better now, which is really, it made like doing the prequels a bit awkward. So they were like, computers are way better than that. Like today, we're gonna have to like up that ante a little bit. But in some ways, I think we've already surpassed it. But we haven't got flying cars. Except we have. It's time to build it. Yeah, drones is going to be the way. In the next few years, we'll be having drone taxis in cities.
Well, have y'all seen the actual? There's a flying car that like is, I think, just got approved for. I don't know if it was a specific country or globally or what the hell it was, but.
Have you seen those drone bikes that thing you're going to be using? The police in Abu Dhabi are going to be using.
No.
It looks like a motorbike, but it's got like 4 drone things on it, and it can fly for about 35 minutes. And the police in Abu Dhabi are actually like testing it at the moment. They're going to be using it. And it just looks like the motorbike from the beginning of the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. It's a flying motorbike. It's insane. And they said all we need is like better batteries, and they're going to be. This is the future. But I just think we're going to be getting like helicopters, little drone taxis that just like hop from the top of buildings in cities, and they land, plug in, because they can only fly for about 35 minutes or so, and they probably won't even have a pilot. They'll probably be automated, and that'll be the way people get around in cities in the future. Amazing, and that's like sci-fi, man, sci-fi shit, and we're living in it. We'll see it in our lifetime.
I might need to confiscate one of those. I don't know how I do that, but I'm gonna find that'd be so much fun. That sounds like so much freaking fun. Have you seen?
I need Ed 209 to get built. I want an Ed 209.
I don't know what that is.
RoboCop.
Oh! I see. I'm thinking crazy modern stuff.
Yeah.
There's another bike that. Have you seen? There's a water bike now. You can literally just bike across the water, and it just keeps pedaling. It's the coolest thing.
Like a jet ski.
Yeah, it's like a jet ski, but for a bike. Like you just use your pedals instead.
Have you seen the dolphin? The dolphin submarine.
I was like, I think I've seen a dolphin.
No, that's freaking amazing. Right. It's basically a jet ski, but it's a submarine. But it can't actually go underwater very well. So what it does, I'll have to see if I can find it. And I don't really know how to show things on the channel because it's incredible. I want one so badly. Right, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a sec. Dolphin.
I'm jumping out.
Yeah, I know you got steak and stuff to eat, mate.
Yes.
I found it already. Right, okay. The jet-powered dolphin in 4K. Right, how do I then put it on? So how do I now actually put it on the podcast?
The Sea Breacher?
Sea Breacher. I think it's called the dolphin. How do I do it? I need to learn how to do these things. Is it the
present, share screen, and then you choose the tab?
Where's present?
It's in the middle of the bottom of things we can choose.
Matt, before you go, can you just Google dolphin thing and can you do it, please?
I already got it.
Can you play it, please? That's the one. That's one I was just looking at, and then you got to go. But I want one so much. I just want, but it can hop and it can dive under the water and stuff. It's James Bond, man.
What?
Look at that freaking thing! I want one so badly.
Ha! No way!
It's incredible. I want one so much. If I win the lottery,
that dude's having so much fun.
First thing I'm buying. It is Sequest DSV. Is it called the Sea Breacher? Is it? I thought it was called the Dolphin, but okay. Looks like a dolphin.
I googled dolphin and it came up. That's insane.
This dude.
Want one so bad. I hate the water.
That's Matt. I was so
want one
confused.
so bad. Oh man, I would have so much fun with that crap.
Oh,
I
for
would
sure.
have a whale of a time with that shit.
Right, I'm jumping out.
See you later, buddy. I'm gonna.
How do I end this on just my?
I'll just kick you out.
No. But just end it on my channel.
Don't end broadcast. Just close your window.
Well, he wants to end it on Matt the Dean.
Hang on, if I just do remove.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it'll carry on Matt the Deans. What's hard? We're only going to be 10 minutes or so, and I'm cutting off anyway.
Aye.
I think that's worked.
Yeah, I think it worked. That worked last time. We did that.
Have a good one, bud.
See you,
yeah,
brother.
that works. That works.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there were two.
Then there were two. I want a dolphin right now. Both a real dolphin and the submarine dolphin.
It's lottery. As soon as I win the lottery, I am buying myself a dolphin. When we reach 1 million subscribers, I'm going to do that, and I'll do a video of it. There you go. That's our million subscribers thing.
Dolphin.
Yeah.
50K is tats. 100K,
tattoo, 100K,
500K, something, all kinds of things.
Apparently, that's what we agreed, and I think that'd be awesome. I did a poll on Secret Invasion that I'd love to mention to you. Have you seen it?
The Marvel Secret Invasion?
Yeah. So I watched the final episode today.
Ooh,
it made me sad.
How was that?
It's freaking awful. Right. Do you know how they set up rules in Marvel? I think I did a video on it in SCIFI. Sometimes you set up rules and then you follow those rules. The final battle sequence made no freaking sense at all. Oh, thank you so much, David. You're an absolute legend, sir. And it's going towards the dolphin. Thank you, David. Amazing. You're a legend. Right. So I did a poll on the channel earlier. If I can remember how to look it up. There we go. Yeah, it made absolutely no sense at all. The fight scene. So the idea is that after the battle against Thanos, he went around and collected DNA, and basically had a DNA collection of all the different superheroes.
Yep.
Right. That's not how collecting DNA works, but okay.
Nope.
They then injected them into the green dudes that can transform. I'm blocking all this information out of my brain, so I'm sorry.
The scroll.
The scroll. And then the scroll just started to turn into one of the superpowers, by the way, and they got this from the DNA, was that the magic rings appeared on her hand, because that's in DNA. And they had this epic battle. And even though they had the healing powers, she killed him by shooting through his chest. Didn't hit the heart, by the way. It was right through the middle, and the heart's up here. But we'll ignore that bit as well. No sense. None. It was worse than She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk. It got to the end, and I'm just watching. And it was not swearing. My neighbour thinks there was a murder. And what was murdered was Marvel's integrity. It was awful. So I put a poll on.
I think it very well may be Sam Jackson's worst project. Even his purposefully bad things, like Snakes on a Plane, Deep Blue, stuff like that. It's he knows where he's at with that, and that's fun. Mm-hmm. This is okay, do your best, and then put Olivia Colman. Every time Olivia Colman comes on screen, I'm just give this to her. She's the only person interesting in this entire freaking thing. And that's just because it's Olivia Colman's ability to act.
She's amazing in everything she does. Khaleesi is awful.
I love Emilia Clarke, and she did not do well with this. But how could you with what she was given?
No, God, it's not the actor's fault. She was awful. Sam Jackson was awful. It's just awful. Right, so finally got around to watching the end of Secret Invasion. Were the writers drunk? The end makes less sense than She-Hulk. But what did you think? That was with the scroll. That was the vote. We've had 181 votes. So great, loved it. 4% of the vote. I think that's like one vote. Not bad, but Marvel have done better. 16% of the vote. Okay, 10% of the vote. Pretty bad, but still better than most DC stuff. Put the bear. 13% of the vote.
Yeah.
Confused mess that was painful to watch. 56% of the vote. And that's being kind.
That's being very kind.
I think that's the Sam Jackson effect, to be honest, because it's Sam Jackson. He's only...
Without even talking about the fight itself, what, like you just said, to start all that conversation off, there are rules set in place. The rules obviously were not adhered to, but now how are they supposed to adhere to any rules whenever, if you don't call, I don't even remember the Skrull's name, Emilia Clarke's Skrull.
Yeah. Fuck that in my memory.
Yeah, I should. I'm usually better about just keeping it in there whether I need to or not, and it's gone. Khaleesi Skrull.
Khaleesi Skrull. Yeah.
From now on, if anything happens in any part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the vicinity of the Milky Way, not just Earth, but the Milky Way, shouldn't we just call Khaleesi Skrull?
Yeah.
Kira, isn't it Kira? No, Kira is her Star Wars. Sorry.
Yeah. No, she's got all the superpowers, so why not?
She's Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Literally indestructible.
She grows Thingy's arm from
Drax or
the Destroyer. Tattoos and all. Grows that. I thought, oh, that's weird.
Which I mean, if we're just talking about DNA as well, like she wouldn't have the tattoo and scarring of Drax the Destroyer if it was just the frickin' DNA. Like,
no, that's not how DNA works. Also, if DNA gets spread around during a battle, you can't then go around afterwards and swab it up and know what you're swabbing. So you wouldn't have a clue what was what. And also, DNA breaks down really quickly. So again, I'm not sure that would work. But hey, let's ignore that. I remember there's a battle going on as well, and like boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, stuff going on. So and then somebody's like, there's a lab tech afterwards going, oh, that's lovely. It's just stupid. But then obviously, yeah, she's the most powerful superhero, whatever you want to call her, on in the universe now, and it's ridiculously stupid. Honestly, Marvel. I keep thinking Marvel are going to turn a corner. They'll get good. It'll come good. And they do a movie sometimes, you think, oh, that's nearly good. But honestly, in the last 5 years, basically since the end of the Thanos Infinity Wars saga, everything they've done has been shit.
How do you feel about Spider-Man No Way Home?
It's Sony.
Well, it's still Marvel though.
It's Marvel Studios, but I'm putting that to one side. And actually, I think the Spider-Man movies have all been really strong. The Venoms have been terrible.
Whoa.
The Venom movies have been awful.
People like them. I don't. I just really don't. I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's why they've done well, because Tom Hardy's great in them.
Yeah.
Those are two films that I think whoever's editing those films is a stoner. Probably he's probably one of your brothers. One of your best friends.
We take things slowly and meticulously.
No, they're just actually in that case, yeah, they
they're
must
cracked out.
Or coke or something, yeah, because it's so like jerky and rubbish. And the second, I'm not in a ranty mood today, mate. I'm so sorry.
I love it.
The second fucking film we're talking about with Carnage. So at one point, he walks in and he's sort of like, and he sees Carnage. He goes, "Oh, that's a red one. I'm out of here," and goes to walk out. Doesn't explain it. And then obviously Tom Hardy just goes, go on. And he goes, "Oh, okay then." And they have the fight. What was that about? It doesn't explain it at all.
Isn't that when the line is like, well, we had like, no, because that line's about a Spider-Man line is whenever they go back and say like, we're some infinite being that knows all these different like collective multiverses. We all have a shared memory. I guess that's part of the Carnage stuff, but like,
I actually enjoyed the movies. I actually do enjoy watching, and the character is brilliant. But when I then, like say, when I watch it a second time, and the editing is just doing my nut, and then you have bits like scenes like that, you just go, "Why did you do that? Why didn't you explain it? Why didn't you slow down a little bit and make a slightly better film? Let's make a film that makes freaking sense." There you go. I have the same problem with the Transformer movies, that the editing just does my fucking nut. But once I notice the rhythm and stuff, it's all messed up. I can't. It ruins the film for me. But yeah, so I hate those films. But honestly, like Doctor Strange 2, crap. Thor: Love and Thunder, crap. To be honest, bits I enjoyed, but generally crap. Everyone was going nuts over Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I didn't enjoy it that much. I enjoyed bits. It's too slow, and it was up its own arse a little bit.
I can see that. It's good, but it's not as good as the first two. I don't think.
Nothing like as good as the first one in particular. The first one's a classic. The second one was good, but the third one isn't as good. I enjoyed bits.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Fillion fan over here. Did you enjoy the Fillion aspects of Guardians 3? I was about to say, because those are probably the weakest bits, honestly. As much as I love just seeing him, it's just like...
It was just, oh, look, it's Nathan Fillion. The problem with that was like, and the outfit was stupid. The spaceship they were on was stupid. It just looked stupid. The film is slightly too long, and I think it's too much of a goodbye. Isn't this great? Oh, we've loved doing these 3 films, and oh, it's been brilliant. Bye. And I'm just like, actually, just do a film.
Real quick, we might switch it to spoilers just to talk about this for a second. It was such a goodbye film, and spoilers real quick, just to make sure that's there and everyone's got that down, but nobody dies?
Yeah.
It's such an emotional, like...
They're all coming back. We are getting another Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We are. It just won't be James Gunn, but we are getting another one. That's at the end of the thing, isn't it? That's it. The Star-Lord will be back. That's what it said.
Which I'm perfectly fine with, but like, Rocket didn't die.
No.
Gamora didn't die. Nebula even. I can understand that because she's a good character to keep pushing forward. But Zoe Saldana's been like, yeah, I don't want to stay with this very much longer. It's like, kill her off then. Kill her off. Give those emotional stakes there. Like,
kill Dax because Drax the Destroyer, kill him because he has said, I'm not coming back. I do not want to do this again. He nearly didn't do the third one.
So does that mean we just get Drax recast now, or we just don't have an explanation and he's just off in the ether? Like,
he's been publicly very negative about Disney and Marvel since and before. He only did it because they rehired James Gunn.
Yeah,
and after the incident, and you know, it's awful. So, but it's not an awful film. It's not a good film. The TV series, though, Secret Invasion was terrible. She-Hulk was terrible. I actually quite liked the Hawk guy, the one, the Christmas special they did. I quite liked it. I didn't hate it.
I liked it besides the last episode, really.
Yeah, that's fair. What other ones have we had? TV series? I can't think. So I just the Miss Marvel one was terrible.
Really? I've heard good things. I haven't watched that one yet.
I hated Black Panther 2, but you're not supposed to because it was a goodbye to Chad Boswick. So you're supposed to love that film. I like bits. It's fucking awful.
Honestly, Black Panther 2 had the same kind of mishaps, I would say, as Guardians 3 did. It's supposed to be this super strong emotional thing, and by the end of it, all of these emotional beats have happened, yes. And if you're really enveloped with the film, you might be going along and having those emotional beats with it.
Mm.
But then it's one of those things, the second you remove yourself from it, you're like, oh, wait, they kind of like negated all the emotional beats within the film itself. Like,
it just feels like they're up their own backside again. It's just like, it's trying to be emotional rather than actually being like it's like it feels like they're faking it.
Yeah,
and it comes across The storylines weren't great, and again, too long. If you come out of a film thinking, God, was that 3 hours long? Then, you know, you've got, I can't remember. I saw a film not long ago. Avatar's a perfect example. You come out of Avatar going, that didn't feel like a 3 hour long movie. It was great, you know. But Scarlet Witch series, that started. I like the concept of it. So I'm sorry, David Bailey just mentioned it. I like the concept of it, but even that, by the end of it, you're just going, oh, for God's sake, you were quite clever in the beginning, but it was boring as shit. I was watching it thinking, this is quite clever. I like this, but my kids were just like, this is crap.
I think the first 3 episodes and then the 5th and 6th episode were really good. I didn't like the 4th, the 7th, or the 8th episode. I don't know why I remember it that specifically, but it was the first Marvel thing. I think that's why I was just like, this is great. This is great. Really interesting. I like it. What the hell did they just do? Okay, back to good. Back to good. Not really. And then it just ended in the way it did.
I think it was that. I thought it was clever. But actually, we'll look back at it afterwards. I'm thinking, I'm not sure this is actually a bit boring. But like I said, my barometer was my kids would have been 12 at the time, and they walked out halfway through the first episode, and they were just like, I don't know what's going on. And that's not a good. Marvel should be able to keep the attention of a 12-year-old.
Yeah, I do love in WandaVision how they do like the different eras of television for like an episode and stuff like that. I can see why a kid would do that, like walk out on that. But also, like,
what's going on? Don't get it.
Yeah, it's Marvel. It should still retain that audience nonetheless. Like,
it should be able to grab a 12-year-old, or what's the point? But yeah, I honestly don't think they've done anything good since the and I don't know why. I don't know what has happened. I keep expecting them. Like I said, Loki. I actually quite like Loki.
That one hurt me.
You know, you really hated Loki. I quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it.
I really liked the first episode and the last episode, and maybe the 7th episode.
Oh, David B just mentioned that Shang-Chi. I actually really enjoyed Shang-Chi.
I like the first. I like the second act of Shang-Chi. The first act was like, okay, that's a lot of Awkwafina. I do like Awkwafina a lot, but you're making me not like Awkwafina as much. Then the third act was the same thought process, and then also like CGI just crap fest. It was like, all right, we got a sky beam, we've got dragons, we've got bunch of villains that don't actually mean anything. So much fun. Woo! So many stakes. Like, I don't know. It got annoying.
Yeah.
The one thing that Marvel did do in recent memory.
I know what you're going to say. And it was good.
Werewolf by Night. Yeah, Werewolf by Night.
The one non-superhero thing they've done.
Loved it.
It was very clever.
Might be the best thing they've done since Infinity War. Like, if not prior to it. I loved that thing. And then the Guardian special, I really didn't like, honestly.
No, I was really looking forward to that. I thought, you know, you saw they're going to go kidnap Kevin Bacon. I thought that's a brilliant idea. Fantastic. But they didn't quite get the tone right. It was like, it wasn't. They tried to keep it in canon, I think. So they tried to do it almost like a serious thing, where they should have done it just as a joke and not taken it seriously. But they sort of tried to take it seriously, but it was a joke. And I just think they've got a bit confused about what they're trying to do with it. It's just as a joke, not try to keep it just like and just very tongue in cheek, and just took whereas it didn't quite work. Don't know, there's something wrong with it. I don't know, can't quite put my finger on what they did wrong, but they did something wrong.
The tonality. I think when you said that, that's probably the closest thing I can think of. Just because everything that happens in there, I feel like if it was handled in the way that James Gunn typically handles things, or at least Guardians 1 and 2 would be okay. But, I mean, I wasn't surprised after I saw Suicide Squad and then Peacemaker and then that. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Which also worries the hell out of me for James Gunn, Peter Safran, DC.
I'm not sure James Gunn is the genius that people think he is.
He's not. I think we've gone over this once or twice, but I actually credit him with screwing up film altogether. I think he did something amazing with Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014, and that's like obviously so many Marvels that kind of like North Star for film, just because it's as successful as it is for everyone.
I was expecting it to be that successful as well. Everyone thought. I remember when it was announced, it was like, really?
Like,
that's going to be very
Iron Man.
Yeah. Where's Iron Man? But it was brilliant.
Yeah. And then 2014, we got Winter Soldier and Guardians. Winter Soldier is like definitely old guard Marvel. It's like that feels like that kind of like, and everything past then, besides maybe Civil War and Infinity War, which were also Russo brothers from Winter Soldier, every single project feels like it's got more campy, more jokes per minute, which sucks. Like 20 jokes per minute. And we already got like Joss Whedon's version of jokey stuff, like, and that worked really well for the Avengers and stuff.
It's subtle though. It was sarcastic humor. It was tongue in cheek, but it was subtle. Love and Thunder was just comedy vomit, and it didn't work. It was awful because it was just blah 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 blah, and weird humor as well. The old Hammer stuff was just weird. Sci-fi question says wokeification. I don't like that word. I hate the term, and I don't agree with it, to be honest. I don't think there is a wokeification. I think there is a problem in Hollywood where a lot of filmmakers are very scared of being accused of being an ism, so they feel like they have to
overcorrect.
They're overcorrecting constantly, so they're almost always saying, oh, "We're not sexist," but I say you don't have to tell us. Just don't be sexist.
The more you say it, the more I have to question it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
and there is a problem with a lot of projects with that. There is a problem, but I don't.
More Love and Thunder.
Yeah. And I don't think you can call Love and Thunder woke. It was just crap. It was just bad.
Yeah, it's just it because it doesn't, like, if it were woke per se, I feel like it would be spending a lot more time trying to make Jane into the hero and all this. And at the end of the day, she's just kind of like, I want to die. And it's just like, oh, that's entertaining. Like, great. And she just, instead of like, I want to die, and then like having these emotional beats that they could and should have had, because that storyline in the comics is amazing. For her to just be joking the entire way and just be like, yeah, I'm a just pull the plug. She's like, damn, all right, well, here we are. I guess this is what the movies brought us to. It was a little much. It was a little much.
Everything, and it was just badly done, in my opinion. But it was the humor that really killed it, and the creepy Hammer jokes and things was just creepy. And when did they make Thor a dumbass as well? I mean, I know he's never the brightest spark in the bunch, but they made him a dumbass. And
like, even when they make him Fat Thor in Avengers Endgame, which is funny, and it's kind of like it does take away some of the character beats of Thor because he's just gone through so freaking much. It makes sense, and like, okay, well, he's let himself go, all these different things. But even while he's at that level, he's like, yeah, I just lost my dad, my brother, my best friend who watched out for all of us from when I was a child up until now. Heimdall, he lost all of his other best friends right before all that, right before he lost his brother, to having to help kill his sister. Like, it was like a lot of bad things have happened to Thor, and then just it negated it right after Endgame. That was the last time we saw any seriousness to him, and he was in a fat suit, and he was still serious.
Well, he was supposed to be depressed and shit. Popcorn Power does make a good point here, and I say that there isn't. I hate the term woke mainly because it means it was a term that was created back in the 80s about race, and some right wing or left wing idiots, probably Fox News, thought it was a very clever to use the word, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So it's now become a bad thing. It was supposed to be being awake about race and the racial problem in America, and it's been subverted. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. But it is, Popcorn Power does have a really, really good point. That a load of, it's not just Disney, all of them did it. They had diversity executives in charge of diversity. That's where I am going. I actually do agree with the people that shout woke. I think, like I say, I hate the term. I think a lot of people overthink it because it's in their mind. They see it in everything, and it's not. It's just not as big a problem as some people think.
Well, it's like the same thing. Like, what was the word before woke? Woke is literally, I think, just a response to people saying that's toxic. That's toxic. This is toxic. Yeah. This is toxic. Now this is woke. That's woke. This is woke. It's just it's the next word in the zeitgeist that we've all focused on. Yeah. And like you said earlier, when it's groupthink, There tends to be a little less thought going into it.
Yeah, we shout things on the internet that we wouldn't say to someone's face, definitely.
Yeah.
But like I say, that I do think there is a genuine problem in a studio if you've got a diversity executive. I don't think that's the sort of thing. Certain things, I can't remember what it was now. They're going to do a reboot of something. I can't remember what it is, but all the creator talked about was that it was going to be diverse. And I'm like, you've just announced that you're getting this new TV show. Oh, it's X-Files. It was the X-Files. It was the X-Files reboot.
Oh, really?
And he kept saying, "Oh, it's going to be diverse, and it's going to be this." And the actual guy that created it, Chris Carter, was actually doing the interview. Was that Chris Carter? Or was that?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, and he just, and I'm like, you're just announcing it. Why the hell are you talking about diversity? And I'm just like, that smacks us wrong. And that's why the people that do get really, really angry about this, that's why they're so angry. And actually, I understand it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily 100% agree with it, but I know where they're coming from, you know? You've got two people that shout WOCO. You've got thoughtful people that actually see the problem. And yes, okay, they use this term. And even I've started using the term because we've got no choice.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but we've got no choice.
In the zeitgeist.
Yeah, people know what it means for a start, even though it means different things to different people sometimes. And then you've got the people that just use it as an excuse to shout whatever it is that they're bigoted about. And that's why the people that shout WOCO about be really careful, because you're being lumbered in with these, with these people that actually are racist, sexist, bigots, and you got to be really careful that you don't accidentally dump yourself in with the same boat of people. Because I say I've had debates with people that do use the term and do shout and do say that, but they've really thought of it, and they've kind of in the same boat as me, and they say, well, look, they gender swap something, or they think this, but it took away something from the story, and they shouldn't have done it. And I'm like, they did it because it generated clicks. I think a lot of people say that they will executives are doing this to make a point. Yes, they are. They're not working. They do this to get they do this to make a point, and I don't think a lot of executives are on the moral high ground. I think a lot of executives do these things to get clicks and to get interest, because it's the only way to get people talking about their project. And I think they actually do it sometimes just to piss people off, because they know YouTubers will go on about it. But it backfired for Rings of Power, and I think that really did make them stop and think. They've gone too far. But maybe I'm being a bit cynical there.
I don't think so. It's probably not as good a term as Karen. That's funny. But Karen is a little different, I would think. But yeah, like it has.
Karen, so we've all met a Karen.
We've all met many Karens. Yeah, there are episodes like there are ways to do it. Like I even gender swapping, race swapping. I understand why people might yell woke for certain things, and like if it is strictly just to put someone different looking in a different position, like okay, that's not like doing it for the right reasons. If sometimes race swapping and gender swapping actually works really well on things, because it's like that character now has a new perspective on something, and where we might know how that character would generally react with things, now we get this character in a new light that like maybe fits and pertains to the story better now in a modern age, or if you're telling a new story, it fits with a modern age better now, and you can kind of like put that perspective into it. Whenever it's just like, whenever it's the exact same character and there's nothing like there's not that new perspective, the new context to add to something, and it's the same old, just with a different face on it, that's when I guess I can understand people getting pissed off to a degree.
It's done for no reason. I think that's. Or when you get like Ghostbusters with boobs, where the agenda of, I think they announced that. A bunch of people on the internet went, "You can't have Ghostbusters with women," and the writers went, "Can't we?" and forgot to do a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
I actually think they got carried away with it.
Literally a third of that movie is saying Chris Hemsworth is dumb or Chris Hemsworth is hot, and that's like literally a third of the movie.
Yeah, but sometimes even like race swapping a character, So obviously James Bond.
Yeah.
There's been a big campaign to get Idris Elba to be James Bond.
Which,
because 20 or maybe 15 years ago, he'd have been perfect. I think he's too old now, but he would have been perfect because you look at him and go, okay, he's a black guy, but the character of James Bond, suave, cheeky grin, good to the women, but he could still knock your block off. And you're thinking, God damn, he'd be a good James Bond. It doesn't matter.
Would have gotten tail end of Luther time.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And the actor would perfectly fit what they wanted to do. So that in that case, you wouldn't be thinking, you don't see the skin color. It doesn't matter because the character, it would fit the character. If they have to change the character to fit that he's a black guy, then that's wrong, I think, because James Bond is, the character is thing. But all he really has to be is a British spy. He's supposed to be English, and we didn't kick off when Sean Connery got the job. So, it's like, I don't mind that sort of thing if it's done for a reason. Like when they did it with Starbuck and Battlestar Galactica, they made it Katie Sackhoff, but the writers even said at the time it's because the character was boring. We didn't want to do it again. We wanted to do something different, so we gender swapped her. But now a lot of executives do it to get clicks. Writers do stuff with agendas. Executives don't. People at Disney don't have agendas. Not all of them anyway. Their agenda is to make money and to get up interest about their movies, and that is what they're doing. Writers have agendas, but they always have. And we can go through old Star Trek episodes, and you go, if they released that today, they would scream woke at it. The Star Trek classic episode with the black on one and white on the other face is not subtle. It's about racism. People would scream woke at that. There's a load of TNG episodes. There was one TNG episode about transgender. And nobody screamed woke at that at the time. I do think there's a political issue here that we're not tackling very well. And until we do, at the end of the day, if you go into watching any project with that in your mind, you're going to see it. You're going to see something that,
whether it's what you're looking for in a good terminology or a bad terminology, you'll find it.
Preconceptions affects our psychology massively. We don't always appreciate that, how much it affects our the way we see things until we realize afterwards. But I also think there's been a massive problem in a lot of TV series at the moment where there's that they're doing too much. They're pushing writers too hard, and they're trying to do too much with too little. They're trying to it's all about getting content on. And I think there's been a big problem with quantity over quality in the last 10 years. And I think the only streaming service not guilty. Yeah. The only streaming service not guilty of it is Apple. They're the only ones that seem to go, no, quality first. Everyone else is just like, get it on. And I do think that's been a massive problem. Some writing has been bad.
I'd say for the most part, they have more shows than Apple does for sure, but Paramount is actually pretty good about that too.
I did it on Sidetrack Sides. Nobody liked it, so I stopped doing it. Well, I have opinions, and I get caught up in. I get a little bit carried away sometimes.
We all do. One of my favorite sayings is, "We like assholes. We all have opinions." I love that.
I'm a bit liberal, but I've grew up. I had my career early on in the military, and that set me a certain way of thinking. I then went into the NHS, and that's a certain way of thinking, and social care that I do now. And it does ingrain into your thing that, you don't judge people. That's the number one thing in me. I don't judge anyone. I've not walked in your Joe, the new Battlestar Galactica, mate. They gender swapped the Starbuck character. So it went from Dirk Benedict to Katie Sackhoff. But you don't judge anybody because you've not walked in there. You don't know. We all do because it's part of your psychology. Our brains to create shortcuts, and you create stereotypes of people. You just can't help it. So I've had to train myself not to do it, and I still do. I still see somebody. I think, Pratt, you do something. Pratt, why has he done that? Or somebody drives badly in front of me, so I'm like, that's a bad person. I want to kill him. He's just made a mistake. It's that, so we all do it. But I try very hard to. The immigration problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I really don't. The immigration problem. I cannot help. I don't. One side of me thinks, okay, we haven't got enough GP surgeries. We haven't got enough school spaces. We cannot take everybody. There's a practical limit. Not everybody can live here. But on the flip side, if I lived in Syria and my option was to get to Britain, I would go to Britain.
Yeah.
I would risk my life to get there. Or America or anywhere. If I was in Mexico and I was earning 50 pence a day and I'm thinking I can earn 10 times this if I just go over the border illegally, I'm going over the border. It's just like, so I cannot blame anybody that wants to come to this country. But you've got the flip side of that is we're already overpopulated. But the way we live, 90% of the population of the planet don't live anything like we do. Flushing toilets, a third of the population would dream of running water or a warm home or, an education and all these
there
things.
There are multiple continents that struggle with that on a daily basis. Yeah. Not just countries, the continents, which is,
Well, we won the birth lottery. We were born in the right country at the right time. And like saying, there's a lot of the rest of the world that just don't even imagine. Imagine living in China today, even though it's becoming a very wealthy country. Nobody in that country really has freedom.
Do they know if it's a wealthy country even? Because all of everything they do is completely blocked and watched and
controlled. You live in 1985, in the novel 1985, basically, and 1984. Sorry, I was 1 year old.
George Orwell.
But that's basically the where they live, and it's I don't know. It's just we're insanely lucky. No wonder everyone wants to live here.
No, I'm with you. Growing up in Texas, obviously, the wall has always been an idea, but also there's perfectly reasonable explanations for it, but at the same time, like, put yourself in anybody else's shoes. I don't lean to the left or the right, either one. And I'm thankful for that. I was raised a certain way, but found my own way, I guess, and it wasn't with left or right side, which I'm grateful for that. But just I tried to put myself on in other people's shoes and other people's perspectives and add context to a situation, because if you don't, it tends to be just a shouting match from one side or the other. And when you're talking about lives, it can't be a shouting match for one side or the other. It needs the context. It needs perspective. It needs not just our perspective from the US or the UK or the West in general. It needs perspective from the people that are coming. There aren't any centrist governments anymore. Centrist governments can be some of the worst ones as well. I would actually say the U.S. government is very much a centrist government. The right side and the left side fight for the same thing. They just don't tell you they're fighting for the same thing.
Yeah. We basically can't tell the difference between the Conservatives and the Labour Party in this country anymore.
No, yeah.
They basically have the same thing. The Conservatives are a little bit more left, and they have a far... but within the party, they tend to be quite centrist, and they have a left-wing element to them that they try to ignore. In Labour, they have a strong right-wing element to them that they try to ignore because they're trying to get as many votes as humanly possible. So they're very centrist. And also the thing is, they never really do anything. In America, though, it's even worse, because what you end up with having is a president that's a Democrat or a Republican, and a Senate or the House or both that are the other party. And they do. The Republicans are very honest about this. When there was the last, they said their job basically is to block anything that Biden tries to do. And before that, it was Obama, and we've got to block. And then the Democrats did it when Trump was in. We just got to block everything.
And Bush, and like literally, it's just a continuous cycle of one or the other. Which
you just get a neutered government. You get a government that can't do anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
And we just push ourselves further and further into polarization, especially in the U.S. here. And y'all are kind of getting there, I guess, with some of your more vibrant politicians nowadays.
We're not so we've always got an element of anger, but we tend to. I don't think it's as bad. We're not as depolarized as some countries. Even in Europe, France has a huge race problem and a huge immigration problem, and they're not they switch to violence quite quickly. We don't tend to, and we have riots occasionally. We get pushed too far or something, but on the whole, we're quite a liberal nation. We always have been. We're a mongrel nation, though. We're a nation that grew up on the empire and trade and been invaded a few times. You go back far enough. I've got blue eyes. I'm probably Nordic. My mate is brown eyes. He's probably French, back going 1,000 years. So I think we're a reasonably tolerant nation. We love our main the thing that we eat the most of is chicken tikka masala. It's the nation's most popular curry and the most popular food, and it wasn't even invented in India. We invented it. So Indians don't know what chicken tikka masala is. What the bloody hell is this? Slightly racist accent. But we have the empire, and then we're just very sorry about having the empire because we're so sorry. We're so sorry we did that. But I think America has got the problem that I think they're in decline, and I think economically they're in decline, and they're desperate not to be. Yeah, it should really worry the entire planet that America spends more than the next six nations on military put together. Remembering that 2 of those nations are freaking Russia and China, and you still spend more than the 6 combined. It might even be more than that now. Somebody told me it was the next 10 combined, and I'm just like, why are you doing that? Knowing you're in decline. So there's and knowing that the resources are becoming more limited. What's America's plan? But I think we're a reasonably tolerant nation. You got it there. In psychology, though, here we go. So you're getting a psychology lesson now. We've gone all over the place in this chat. Next time, can we talk about films?
Yes. I have one more film topic, but it's not truly a film topic. But we're
already pushing 2 hours, so let's see how that goes. Yeah. Well, in psychology, you've got something called in and out group thinking. And it's like you're in my group, and if you're out of group, we don't like them. And they did a load of experiments with kids, and you had a blue team and a red team. And sometimes you get to pick the blue team, and if they won a task, they could either get something that helped them, like get a prize, or do something that harmed the other team. And invariably, they picked the thing that harmed the other team. Like they had their sweets took off them or something. And invariably, you would pick to do that rather than do something that actually helps you.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, the in-group and out-group thinking changes depending on what you're talking about. So I'm from Telford, so I hate everybody from Shrewsbury the next time over. But I'm English, so I hate the Welsh and the Scottish. But I'm British, so I hate the Europeans. But I'm a European, so I hate the Americans. I'm a white guy, so maybe I hate black guys. I'm human, so maybe I hate the aliens that are coming. You know what I mean? So you've got these concentric circles that grow depending on what you're talking about. And perfect thing for football teams is a perfect example of that. Is that I'm a Man United fan. I don't live anywhere near Manchester, but I hate Arsenal fans or something. But when England play, we hate everyone. So, I mean, it's those loyalties switch, and that in-group and out-group thinking changes massively. And it's only when you think about it that those become, when you realize how stupid a lot of our prejudices are, because it would change very, very rapidly. If aliens invaded us tomorrow, a lot of racists would change their thinking very.
It'd be entirely different, immediately, which would be hilarious. That's what it took.
Because it's basic psychology. We're an animal, and it's basic psychology. Yeah. But a lot of people just don't understand it because it's intrinsic. It's not something we naturally think about. It's part of our instinct. So it's like our lizard brain. It's our instinct. Anyway, what's the other movie thing you want us to talk about?
Yeah, well,
I'm going to need a wee.
Bob made a good point here, but that brings us into a much deeper version of this conversation.
And that is true. Our Navy, and particularly the American Navy, which is vastly massive compared to ours, does protect a lot of things that makes the world go round. It is true. And obviously the military isn't just an evil. Okay, a lot of our technology has progressed very rapidly, particularly in the 80s and the 90s, because of military spending. The Cold War was actually amazing for the world.
For the advancement of the human species in a lot of ways.
Technology, because of the military. You know, our space program is based on the fact that we wanted to build an intercontinental nuclear missile. You know, the Titan wasn't designed to go to the moon. It was designed to nuke Russia. You know, so there's that.
Which I love y'all space stuff, but y'all are just a little behind with space stuff. That's like the only thing y'all are behind with typically.
The British.
Yeah.
We invented it. Our scientists just went to America. The Germans and the British, your space program is based on our intelligence.
They came to us though, and just to make sure y'all couldn't do it. That was one of those like little we'll do this. But Spaceport Cornwallis
skint. But and the NASA, what is the number one nationality for NASA employees? It's America and Canada. But then Britain. You hire a third highest nationality, I think, is British people. We have a very good education system.
Mm-hmm. Stormy would probably know a little bit more, but I love. Do you follow Spaceport Cornwallis at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing that all these different places around the world, or whether they're government funded or not, to a degree or whatever, because they're typically to a degree. I just like seeing more people interested in space and things like that. It's great. To bring it into the good politics of the world is like adventurers and things of the sort, learning and yada yada.
Yeah, there's always human beings are complicated. We have good sides and bad sides, and generally speaking, I think our good nature wins out. Most of the time, people are reasonable. One-on-one, people are really reasonable. You know, it's like I think even except for the most extreme, like Ku Klux Klan racist, a lot of us might have instincts that we're maybe not massively proud of sometimes. But if somebody, regardless of what creed, color, whatever they were, was in trouble in front of you, you would help them. And that's true for most people. If there's a natural disaster in any part of the world, we try to help. And I think that's when we see the best of humanity. You know, Britain is brilliant at it. As soon as there's like a tidal wave or something, the whole country just seems to pull together and it's like, right, how can we help? What can we do? You know, and I think and I think every nation is like that. You know, it's when we start looking inward, I think we've got a problem. And I think America is starting to look inward more and more.
Oh yeah, that was better. Just you saying that was like, I don't think if something bad were to happen in California, I'm pretty sure most of the country would be like, good, like, you know, or
in Hawaii. I don't see the entire nation swinging over to help Hawaii. They definitely didn't. Oh, what's the state it's not a state? And they had the
DC.
No, it's the American. It's an American protectorate, but it's not a state. And there was a massive natural disaster a few years ago.
Samoa, Guam,
under Obama,
Puerto Rico.
Okay, and it's and they barely did anything. And but they said it's not a state, so you're not eligible for state funding. And it's just like,
but you're a territory. You should have something like.
Those people consider themselves Americans, and the richest planet did nothing. And right now, Hawaii
as a state for decades.
I was on holiday and we were down in Tenerife, and there's natural fires there, and we had an excursion planned. So we're like going, is it appropriate for us to go on this excursion? And I just gone up because I was watching the Hawaiian news, and a lot of locals are there going, my house has just burned down, and those fuckers over there are on holiday. We've got no water, and they're swimming in a pool. What the hell? And I was just like, is it okay? And they were just like, no, don't worry, nobody's died. There are some wildfires, but they're sorting them. You're fine, sort of thing. So, but I felt a bit bad. You know, it's the world's mental sometimes.
The food, Also, Richard, are you all right? A tornado hit your street 3 days ago. You all good? Is your house all right? Hopefully.
I don't know. What was the movie thing you wanted to talk about?
But yeah, we'll end it back on semi-topic.
Let's end on Cinema Scoop.
So, just while we're kind of we've gone over IPs and things of the sort today. Or at least my generation, I would probably say about Matt's age and younger, like the 30 years old and younger. Barbies were not super popular, honestly, while growing up. The girls weren't going after Barbies. But you know what was popular? I don't know if you even know what this is, but a Bratz doll. Have you heard of a Bratz?
I know the Bratz. They did a movie and they did a cartoon. Bratz.
Yeah, there's a few of those, yeah.
What is your obsession in America putting Z where it should be an S? What is wrong with you people? But anyway, sorry.
Are you Canadian?
No.
Do you say Z in England and in the UK as well?
ZPM.
There we go. Oh.
But I might say Z sometimes. ABCD.
That's yours of watching Stargate for you.
Oh no, I might say XYZ sometimes. But the point is, a lot of words are supposed to be an S, and you people put in a Z, and it's wrong. Just because the letter's there doesn't mean you have to use it constantly.
Yeah.
So leave it alone.
Well, now the letter that we're using everywhere is X, but that's not our fault. That's Elon's.
Arc of Truth. Done. Easy.
OG Stargate.
Oh, I suppose the original Stargate. It's actually, if you technically, it's the only real movie. The others were DVD movies, which are they real movies?
Yeah. But anyway, there's going to be a Barbie versus Bratz documentary. And if the documentary is already happening, I'm sure the Bratz people are thinking about a live action film of some sort. There's obviously a live action Polly Pocket movie happening with Mattel. Yeah. So there are already multitudes of dolls coming to life within Mattel's world. Will the next DC versus MCU be Bratz versus Barbie? And has Barbie already, I guess, sat themselves up like the MCU, where the DCU can't even catch up, and everything they would be doing would be playing catch up?
Yeah. I don't even just so Captain Caveman. No, I went on holiday. You can go on vacation. I went on holiday. And Christmas aren't the holidays. It's just Christmas. Right?
What is Christmas classified as if it's not a holiday?
Yeah, it's a Christmas holiday, but we don't call it the holidays like you guys do. It's just Christmas.
I mean, I'm with you. I like calling things holiday, but
if somebody says to me, "What are you doing for holidays?" I will think about where I'm going on vacation. Right? We do not call Christmas the holidays. I know you guys because you've got 2 or 3 things that happen within a month or so of each other.
We like to celebrate.
We've just got Christmas. So we've got Christmas, and then we've got going on holiday. And when I'm on so if I have a week off work, I go on holiday. Even if I don't go anywhere, I'm on my holiday. So I'm on holiday next week. I'm not, but you know what I mean? I'm not here. So we know. And then you never hear anybody say vacation unless they're going to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or another movie that's called Vacation in the title. We don't use
all the different National Lampoon vacation movies.
Yeah. If you said, "Am I going on vacation?" It's in this country, you'd be like, "Well,"
and Chevy Chase is coming, huh?
Yeah. Are we going to watch? Are we watching the National Lampoon movie? Which is just not. No. You might say annual leave because that's a work version. You know, you have to book annual leave. I'm on leave next week. You know what I mean? We might say that, but nobody says vacation.
Right. Well,
so just to correct that, Caveman.
I'm with you, but grammatically speaking, vacation makes more sense because it just makes it less confusing.
You guys are so literal about these things. So, right, you've got a bin that you put paper in. We call it a bin. You call it a waste paper basket.
We call it a trash can.
Trash as well. Nobody says trash. It's rubbish.
You say rubbish bin, I guess, instead of like rubbish can.
We say bin. Put it in the bin. If you, the only difference we might say outside bin. If we want it to go in the trash can, we might go stick it in the outside bin.
We call that one a dumpster.
Well, dumpsters. We have dumpsters here as well, but they're big. So a big bin. We might.
Yeah. If we're just talking about like the bigger trash can outside. We still say the trash.
Yeah, but we know nobody says trash. In the UK.
Well, I think it's one of those language YouTubers I've always watched to a degree and probably should watch a hell of a lot more because my mom, birth mom at least, is a polyglot that knows 9.5 languages. So it's up here to learn somewhere. So I should watch these things more. But I think it was Ollie Richards. He was looking for some like new YouTube title or something. It was like the English language, something like that. But he was, I think I know. I'm gonna be
more. We are
aluminium.
Fucking there's an I in there. Why do you
but there's not. Aluminum sounds so much better than aluminium. That doesn't sound like a metal.
Because there's an I in it. There's aluminium. It's IUM at the end, not aluminum. You're just ignoring an entire letter.
Look in the modern English dictionary. I think Merriam-Webster's would say otherwise. I legitimately believe
modern English dictionary. No, the Oxford English Dictionary is the English dictionary.
That's like saying like the King James Bible or something is like correct. But like that was like edited by like a dozen people. Whatever.
No. You have an American dictionary. You don't even speak English anymore. You speak American.
Well, that was the whole Ollie Richards thing. We just speak a I forgot what he's had the funniest little name for it, but it's like the English language, like bastardized logic or something like that. It's just like it's a bastardized tongue, but it is logical at this point, which makes it make more sense than most languages. But
I in the UK apparently it was aluminum at some point. No friggin' clue. Okay, I believe you. But right now, if you look at this, it's aluminium with an IUM. You pronounce it aluminium because there's an I next to the U and M. Now write it down slowly. Sorry,
I think it should be changed to what Kaha said though. Aluminum. Oh wait, aluminum. Oh god, aluminum.
Aluminum.
Oh, this is like worse than trying to say sea anemone from Finding Nemo. Aluminium.
That's awesome. I'm going to steal that for. I'm trying to write a book at the moment. I'm stealing that.
Aluminium.
Yeah.
I'm going to be trying to say that all day.
American was very spoken around the world. No bloody English is. English and Spanish are the only two languages you need to learn.
Yeah, Mandarin probably pretty soon though.
No, because they all speak English. China English is the most spoken language in China.
No shit.
Because they've got like 20 different languages. So Chinese is obviously the most spoken language, but
Mandarin Cantonese for sure.
The second most. It's behind Mandarin. There's Mandarin and then English is the most spoken language in China because they all taught it because they want to sell stuff to America, so they all speak. English is I think it's the most spoken language in most of India, but we used to own it, so that's why. But they all speak English. Most Indians speak English better than I do. Definitely speak English better than you do, you bloody American. But
the aluminum was first. Yeah,
but that's aluminum.
I had to put that up the second you said bloody American, just because we had to.
Americans are like the stupid cousin. You love them, but you wouldn't let them borrow your car. You know what I mean? It's like I love you guys, but I wouldn't lend you my car.
I don't think I'd let y'all borrow my car. Honestly, we actually have land to drive on, and we know how to actually drive. Versus like everything's a city or everything's an island. Like we know how to actually drive.
Well, yeah, you just drive in a straight line. We actually have to like do.
No. We have mountains and plains and swamps, marshes. We have multiple types of mountains throughout this country.
In the UK, we have a traffic island every 30 meters. It's law. I'm pretty sure our councils all had like like curved. Somebody invented a curved piece of curb. And I think our councils like bought too many, so like, oh Jesus, we meant to buy 1,000 and we bought 1,000,000 by accident. Right, put an island every 30 meters, and then they bought too many traffic lights. They put traffic lights on them all as well. But you have to, yeah, it is weird. Sorry, we're trying. I'm just correcting things before I stop ranting about traffic lines. We are trying to get people to go and subscribe to MCubed. MCubed does brilliant live videos almost every day, loads of movies about all the movie news, all this sort of thing, and you've only got like 270 subscribers or something.
Not even that. We're working on it though. We're working on it.
But it's so undeserved. So guys, Sidetrackers, for the love of God, we love Harris. He's our lovable American idiot. Go and subscribe to the Lovable American Idiots YouTube channel right now. So,
I get to be the Green Day for it. I'm kind of Green Day, the American idiot, and I like my Green Day, if you haven't noticed.
But I mean, you do way more movie news and movie opinion than we do on Sidetrack. So I mean, you're our but you should have loads more. So let's get you on.
We've got decent production quality. We've got fun panels. We've got all kinds of stuff. Come on.
Yeah, no, you do. You make better videos than I do. And so, I mean, yeah, you should be. So, yeah, that's why we're doing a double stream. We're going to get you guys hooked, and then eventually we'll just move over to MCubed, I think, and just do these Wednesday lives. And where would you go and talk about traffic islands, underpants, listen to me rant randomly, and talking for nearly 2.5
debates.
Epic debates. And sometimes I even say things I mean. Sometimes I'm not just trying to wind people up. Sometimes. But yeah, we have to drive in this country because we're on the wrong side of the road as well. You know how much concentration it takes to drive on the wrong side of the road all day, every day? The rest of the world.
Well, that's why you'll have to stop so much, right?
Yeah.
We just keep driving.
Yeah, well, I literally, the rest of the world, we decided we're going to drive on the, I have to think which side we have to drive on. We drive on the left, and the entire rest of the world went, no, and drove on the right. And us in British went, well, we're just going to keep doing it. At no point did we go, we could swap. Nope. No, we're like, no. Fuck the rest of the world. And anybody that wants to sell a car in this country will have to do a conversion and put the steering wheel on the other side. We're just like, nope, not doing it.
I mean, how confusing would it be to put? How can do people still have like American-made cars with the right side or with the left side wheel?
It's very rare. What they do is they
have to.
No, you can buy American cars in this country that drive on the wrong side, but it's incredibly dangerous. And it would just be imagine going to like just something silly like going to a McDonald's. Going to a drive-through, you wouldn't be able to like order or go into like the toll and paying a toll. You're like, and so you wouldn't be able to. So, but also, I mean, when you're driving, you can't see anything because you're on the steering wheel's on the you're on the outside of the road basically, aren't you? So you can't see. So very occasionally you'll see like a classic American car that's with the steering wheel on the wrong side. But generally speaking, they have to swap them. I don't think it's a law, but we just wouldn't buy them. It'd be so dangerous. But most cars, they're built in a way that it's very easy just to swap them. It's just a matter of like literally like, and you just swap it. And most electric cars, it's fly-by-wire anyway, so it doesn't matter where the bloody steering wheel goes.
That makes sense. It'll all be in the middle sooner than later.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's yeah, I just love that we just stuck our fingers in our ears and went, no, not doing it. We're not swapping. Like everybody else went completely a different way.
It threw me off when I was in South Africa and in Zambia. I guess it's all the places y'all have taken over, I guess.
There's a few nations that have swapped because we told them.
they were left side of the road. And then in Italy, when I went last year, it was right side of the road. And I was like, Veronica, what's going on? And she's just like, yeah, no, it's right side of the road.
Yeah, we never invaded Italy.
No. Except they invaded others. And then they also have had like 60 different governments since the 40s. But,
I think we have invaded them once or twice, actually.
It happens. It happens.
World War II, we definitely invaded them, but yeah, I think we might have invaded once or twice. I just love that Britain has basically had a fight with every nation on the planet at some point or another.
Is there one that y'all haven't had that like has not been new since?
There's a couple that because they're new.
Yeah, like since World War II, pre-World War II countries. Have y'all not fought somebody?
What countries has Britain not fought? Only 22 countries have never been invaded by Britain.
Out of like the 188 or whatever, like.
Yeah, so we've never invaded Andorra, Belarus, Bolivia, Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo. I can't believe we've never invaded Chad or Congo. We must have literally gone around them. They must not have existed.
I was about to say.
The Ivory Coast, Kyrgyzstan, never heard of it. We've never invaded Liechtenstein. Who knew? Luxembourg, Mali. The Marshall Islands we've never invaded. The Marshall Islands sound like we named it.
There's nothing there either.
We've never invaded Mongolia because we can't be arsed climbing that many mountains. We'd have looked at it and gone, wow, that's high. Can't be bothered with that. Paraguay, Sao Tome and Principe, which is not even a country. They've made that up. We've never invaded Sweden. Weird. It's too cold. Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and we've never invaded the Vatican City.
Oh, we all should change that one. What? I didn't say anything, huh?
We should do that for fun. We should just send one soldier to all these places and invade them as a joke. Just we'll go in and go, we're invading, and now we're going to go. And then there's back out sort of thing, go, thank you much. Just so that we can eventually say we've invaded everybody. Just,
Put your like war prisoners on a boat and let them do it and just dress them up as Brits and be like, it counts. And
when did we invade Greenland? What were we doing?
I would have thought y'all would have probably invaded Greenland more often than not, just for the sake of having extra land.
I think we've invaded some of these because we've just invaded like parts of their nations. I don't think we technically invaded America, did we? We created it.
But... Well, no, you invaded in 1812.
Yeah. We're fighty little buggers. We must have been drinking just before. We're fighty when we have a beer. We do get a bit fighty.
I've noticed. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
We can't help it. We have a few jars.
So, is the British Empire as cool as the Mongolian Empire if they've never defeated the Mongols?
We were bigger. But we had like trains and boats and airplanes. They had horses, and it was quite big. So the Mongol Empire was probably the most successful empire in history. But
was Mongolia or was it the because the Russian Empire kind of turned into the Ottoman to a degree, like eastern part of Russia, not Russia, sorry, Roman. I don't know what would technically be the most successful empire. It would have to be the Brits, wouldn't it?
The British Empire is the most successful. At one point, we controlled a quarter of the population of the planet.
Aye.
But we did it. We never really like fought people particularly. We turned up with India and we basically bought it. We bought off the. We didn't go in vast armies and kill millions of people. We went in and we sort of went to the Maharajas. Do you want to be British? And they would have went, oh, I don't know, because it's a crap load of gold. Oh, okay. And so we kind of bought the country. We invaded like a lot of African nations and things, and they fought back. But we didn't do a lot of like invading. We just sort of turned up. There's an Eddie Izzard joke actually, and he said we'd go in and we turn up on a new nation. We'd find a new population. Go, hello, how are you? And they sort of go, oh, we're lovely. And they would say, do you have a flag? And the nation there would go, what's a flag? I go, oh, you haven't got a flag? And then we would be like, you're British now, isn't that lovely?
Isn't it nice?
And that's how we took over the world. Obviously, we never really fought the Americans until, you decided you didn't want to pay for our tea anymore. And we had a bit of a thing. Honestly, if we'd have been a little bit more diplomatic, America would still be British now. Well, it wouldn't be now, but you'd got independence at some point. But you wouldn't have. They didn't really want to be independent at the time. They were just sick of paying taxes.
Oh no. It was a good.
There was a
chunk.
movement. I'm being a little bit unfair, but it got a lot of momentum because of that.
Yeah, but there were still like I think it was 13% of the population or something like that were Terrys, I think what they called them. Which they were like, we still want to be with the crown. We want to be with the crown. But when it's only 13 and it's like 80+% are like, well, yeah, we had to.
I think a lot of the motivation came from the fact that we were taxing you so heavily, and there was at the end of the day, if we hadn't have done that, you could be like Canada now. You could be you'd be a free nation, but the king would still be head of state, sort of thing. That could have happened.
Religion, I think, is the thing that really pushed us, though, because it was so many Protestants that started the U.S. and it was a religious thing that made us leave. Obviously, we've grown into a not so religious kind of place, but.
Yeah, there's a big population, things like that as well in there, and
yeah, which they were some crazy folk. Going into their history, like, ooh, wow, all right.
There is a theory that actually the British Empire never fell. We just privatized, and that actually America is still today controlled by some of the massive families that traveled over from Britain. And Europe, the rest of Europe as well, and that we basically just created a privatized nation. And actually, you go through the logic of it, kind of makes sense.
Hey, I'm okay with it. Yeah,
I gotta go. But yeah, so yeah, like the
things like what is a crumpet?
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Right. So it's a little round bready thing that you toast. You've got to burn the crap out of it because it goes crispy and it's lovely. But it's basically like a very airy bread. So there's lots of holes in it and it's very floaty and light. And it's lovely. But it's bread, basically.
Shroom tea is also lovely. Yes. And so is the American Constitution, for the most part.
Your American Constitution is lovely in theory, but I'm going to stop that sentence there because I want to keep some of my American subscribers. And okay, well, one word. Do you believe that America has democracy?
Oh no, we never have. It's a national republic.
It's absolutely not. Well, you fight for democracy a lot, but even that, do you actually have a republic? Do you even have a republic?
By a technicality, maybe.
No. It can call a republic, and it was designed as a republic. You do not have democracy, and you do not have it. You're not in a republic. It has become twisted into this presidential system, which and democracy as well is based on the fact that you vote, and the person that gets the most votes gets the presidency. That's not how your election system works at all. And in theory, because you've got those idiots in those colleges that actually do the vote, and there is nothing in the Constitution that says those people have to actually then vote for the person that you voted for in that area. They can vote for whoever they like. That isn't a democracy in anybody's understanding.
I'm happy that it's not in that degree. Democracy is disturbing. At the end of the day, it's three sheep or it's three wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Technically, I know this is more of a polarizing sentence, but gang rape is democracy. Like democracy is not a good thing. A
democracy is a brilliant thing if you actually have a system that is.
It can be.
If you have a parliament system, that is the closest we have to democracy. Because democracy is the true democracy. You'd have mob rule, and it's like Big Brother is a democracy in theory. Like reality TV is a democracy in theory, and it's not good. Individuals are very intelligent. People are thick as pig shit. We shouldn't have democracy. We need checks and balances, definitely, to stop mob rule. When something bad happens, there's a murder, kill him. There's a mob, we're like, kill him. And then calm heads rule goes, no, let's have some justice, shall we? And that's what we need. We need intelligence, and we need checks and balances against our own emotional things. We all do things when we're angry, we regret later, but I just think that the world needs I just think the American system is basically a business. You don't have government, you have a business. And I am a monarchist. I'm sorry, but I am. I like having a monarchy. The monarchy shouldn't have any power whatsoever, but I like the monarchy. I like that we have a monarchy. I like the Queen. I've met the King. I've met the Queen. I say met. I was in the same room as them, and I'm quite proud of our monarchy.
It wasn't near an island, was it?
No, I wasn't in Ireland. I was in London at the time. But they shouldn't have any power whatsoever. It's just a nostalgia thing, and it's just a history thing. I like it. But the Parliament system is the closest thing, I think, to our big government and big business does not affect our government even a tenth what it affects American government. It's you basically have a business, not a government.
Yeah, and one that's not doing too well at the moment.
And it's there is our old times in this country though. When a politician gets caught lying, they have to resign. They will resign, and a lot of the time they'll lose their parliament seat as well. So they have to we have to have a flash election. It doesn't happen very often because our politicians have got very good at not answering questions. Because if they got caught lying, there'll be a scandal there. Yeah, but they'd lose their job.
Yeah,
your politicians can't lose their job. It's very, very difficult to kick out to get somebody out. Your president gets what's that thing, impeached. They don't lose their job. It's almost impossible. So even senators and things, they have to die to lose their job. Well, they die, their wives take over until the next vote. That's mental. That wouldn't happen in this country. So there's that. But I would think they can get, if there's a major scandal, they get caught lying. So what they do is they've just got very, very good at not answering the question. And so you get asked a question, you're like, well, that's a very interesting question, and they just go around in a big circle, and they go by the end of it, you just go, you've not said anything. You're talking for 3 minutes, but they've got really good at that. American thing, they can lie all the time. No problem at all.
Yeah. But yeah, the president kind of plays a similar role. He can enact, I guess, martial law, but the likelihood of that happening, there has to be reasoning for the martial law, or it's unjust.
We have a problem. We have something in this country sometimes called a hung parliament, and it's basically when two parties are so close. We have to have a clear winner, right? When we have a parliament thing, and generally we do. Almost every year we do. But if one party doesn't quite hit they can call it going past the post. So if they don't quite go past the post and they haven't got quite enough of a majority, then what they have to do, they have to hung parliament, and they basically have to do a deal with somebody else. And we then get, so we have two parties in power, and we basically a crippled parliament. And that we get 4 or 5 years of just it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a nightmare because just nothing gets done.
Yeah,
they have to have a deal. It happened a few years ago. The Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats basically had to team up, and the Liberal Democrats forced the Conservatives to do a few things they didn't want to do because it was part of the deal. And everybody blamed the Liberal Democrats, and it destroyed the Liberal Democrat Party. It's never recovered. Basically, though, that's your parliament, that's your system, because you've got the 3 branches, and unless they basically cripple your government because nothing gets done. That's what happens to us in a hung parliament, and it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. You can have a lame duck president. The last 2 years of the presidency, years 7 and 8, the president doesn't do anything, can't do anything, because everybody knows he's on his way out. So you lose that political leverage that you get. In this country, that doesn't happen really, because the prime minister is prime minister regardless. If he loses popularity, he just loses his job and he goes. There isn't that reaction. There isn't that ability to react to in America. You've got to wait till the 4 years is up. And they just behave for the last 12 months, and people forget.
Yep. It's the easiest and most BS thing that they tend to just, it's tried and true. They do it over and over.
Yep. Anyway, I don't know what happened to me tonight. I'm so sorry, guys.
It was fun, though. It was fun nonetheless. We got you jamming at the beginning, and then I liked
I
it.
don't know
Too.
what happened.
It was
I'm
fun.
You're only on your channel, not mine too.
Hey, we've had consistent people here the entire time. They've all been chatting. It's been fun.
Yeah,
All good things.
I'm looking forward to series 2 of Loki too. I enjoyed the first series, and I can't wait for the second. But let's call it an evening. It's been fascinating. Next week, I promise I will be good. I promise.
You're good. If I wasn't so ADD, I probably wouldn't let these things go off in a tangent. But then I get interested in the tangent, and then the tangent's there. It happens.
When it's on sidetrack, I never let it go off on tangents. I'm quite good at dragging it back in and staying on topic. So, but yeah, we haven't done well tonight.
We've stayed on topic for the topics we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The topics just have tended to sway away from
Wanda.
Movies.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. It's time for bed. It is. It is. Well, it's time for go and have a cuddle up with my wife and watch something on the TV before we go.
Have a pint and enjoy the misses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to have a melon and lemon sorbet. Rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I guess they know where to follow us. I do want to get better about like telling like where should we go to find our social media stuff at the end of stuff. Obviously,
ask people to subscribe as well. You do need to ask people to subscribe.
That too. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit our monetization of 500 subscribers. It'd be nice to hit like 50 likes on this stream and on most streams. That'd be cool.
There are links in the description if you're watching this on Sidetrack for Matt's channel and most importantly for Harris's channel because he's still here and we don't have to promote Matt's channel because he's gone. Even though it is Matt's birthday, so I suppose we should. But please.
All the above.
Well, look, I want you to hit. Let's get you hitting 300 subscribers by the weekend. Let's really try to do it. All right, guys. So, and we will push again at the weekend when we're talking more sci-fi and less of my slightly ignorant opinions. So yes, let's do that. Let's go push this because your channel deserves it. It's a good channel. You talk about the stuff we want to talk about. So let's push on.
Well, thank you. And while you're just thinking about sci-fi, everybody, let us know the second we end this stream. I want to know in the comments, the creator or Rebel Moon? Like, what are you looking forward to legitimately more? Because I'm kind of on the creator side, but Rebel Moon has the hype. Rebel Moon has the hype behind it.
Harris, I need to go for a wee.
All right. I'll do the outro and or just intro again, but outro version of it. So yeah, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Don't
everywhere.
play yours. I'll put a bloody thingy, and I'll get the money.
Actually, real quick, we got a new one.
Okay.
It's the same thing, just with the country thing. So we're gonna actually do the one that you made for this because it's both of us.
Well, that's going to be a copyright against me. Thank you. Speak to you later, guys. Have fun.
We'll see from that first song. But thank y'all. We will see y'all soon.